help you narrow it down. They make sleep easy.
All right, we're back.
Jesus.
San Diego and Southern California. We are back. Schaefer and Sliwa for the next 3 hours. I think I just messed up your name. Schaefer and Sliwa for the next 3 hours.
It's great to meet you,
What's
man. It's really good. It's like such a privilege to talk to you and get a chance to do a show with you. Thank you, man. It's Sliwa.
Dude, there's a lot to get into today, obviously, whether it's the Padres or NBA free agency. You have already, before we even start Schaefer and Sliwa, you've done multiple shows today. Not one, but multiple, right?
It's been a busy day. I did a show last night, but you do evening shows all the time.
What did you do a show last night about?
Jumped on with a good buddy of mine, Trevor Lane, who does Lakers Nation.
Gotcha.
So,
what did you guys predict last night? We're like, oh yeah, LeBron will be back.
You know what? He actually was leaning towards, he's like, I kind of got a feeling. I don't know if this guy's going to come back. I'm like, all right, well, I'll believe it when I see it. I just kept assuming that he's going to come back to the Lakers until he isn't. He's going to Europe.
Really? That's huge. He's going to play in the new NBA Europe League. We'll get into that, the ramifications, the fallout, LeBron, the Aztec for Life, Kawhi as well. Good guest on the show today. Annie Heilbrunn will join us coming up at 4 p.m.
Annie.
You know, it's funny. In our rundown, Rem pointed this out.
Yeah.
As opposed to putting Annie is joining us at 4, I put Kawhi Leonard. I don't think he's calling in. He may.
What's the deal with Kawhi? Did you book him or no?
It would be very odd.
Okay, I'll tell you why you went to that route, because you and I are complete idiots. And if we started the live stream at 2:00 and people can be in the prep meeting with us, which by the way is not a terrible idea. We should consider
it's a
doing
great one, but yeah.
We say the dumbest, most absurd things. And we were talking to each other on the phone. You're like, hey, what time is LeBron on? I'm like 5. And then we went, I don't even know. You said Grady Dick
at 5:15 because wasn't he in the Raptors deal?
Because he's in the Raptors deal. We said 5:15.
And then we said Kawhi.
And then I said Cash Patel at 5:20. I don't know what we're talking about. We've said every name possible.
Annie Heilbrunn will join us at 4. If Kawhi calls at the same time and I don't expect it to happen, I'll text Annie and be like, we'll book you for another time. Kobe Price, California Post on the NBA, and the Lakers will join us in the 4:00 hour. How about this? For Aztec fans. Elzie Harrington, coming off a standout freshman year. Now, he was dealing with that leg injury. He's had a procedure. He's back for his sophomore year. He'll join us live coming up at 3:30. But let's start with the Padres. Unfortunately, 3 straight losses.
Can I just
what do you got?
Read one comment here on YouTube? Death, taxes, and the Padres losing 3-2.
It's a great place to start.
My Lord.
The Padres, it's one thing. We've said this a lot this year. I say this a lot. It's one thing to lose. It's another thing to lose in the manner in which the Padres are losing, where it's mental miscue, it's mistake riddled. And some of it at the major league level, Alan, is like inexcusable. It's stuff that they get right in high school and college at times that the Padres aren't getting right. So 6-8 things that they just don't execute properly yesterday, leading to a 3-2 loss in Chicago. A very, I'm sure you agree with this, a very winnable game that they ended up losing last night.
AC had a good article out there earlier today, and I'll point out a couple things. Leadoff hitter reached in 5 different innings, went just 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Manny's bobble, the routine ground ball in the ninth inning when Jason Adam was still out there. Those are just a couple. I mean, I can name off literally 5 different things. Andahar picked off. Freddie Fermin thinking on a ground ball that's going to score Tatis from third. Why don't I get to third, even though the ball went to the shortstop? So an easy out there. I mean, we could point out so many things. Runner on first or runner on third with 1 out, and Jackson Merrill is out in 3 pitches. Fermin had a similar situation.
Tatis caught stealing. Manny tagged a guy standing on second base. What was that about?
What are we doing? This is, I think that the Padres are such a good example of this, because we just came off a series against the Dodgers, and You and I ripped into everybody yesterday, and we can rip into ourselves as well. But we ripped into attendance and what it looks like, people selling tickets to Dodger fans, and bad baseball. Like at the end of the day, all this comes down to was it good or bad baseball.
Yes.
But yesterday was such a good example of a franchise and a team that's just not good enough to make mistakes and still win.
That's exactly right.
And how many mistakes can they make? And how did the Padres lose that game yesterday? How many runners did they have on early in the game? They only scored 2 runs. And by the way, those runs coming pretty early in the matchup. How do you not take advantage of all these little things? And then on top of that, you make your own mistakes. This team's not good enough. Like there's some teams out there that just have so much talent they could overcome things. The Padres don't. They don't, it's ugly baseball. You said they deserve to win that game, but you don't deserve. No, not deserve. You said they should have won that game.
Should have won the game time over.
But you can't win that game based off all these little things that add up to an L.
I never thought I would feel this way, but the further we get removed from Mike Shilt's tenure, his reign, his 2-year unbelievable stretch where they won 90 games back-to-back seasons, it wasn't unbelievable, at least in real time, but there was a good team in there, at least in 2024. But the further we get removed from it, the more I do wonder if Mike Schilt was managing, are you making these types of mistakes as consistently as they have been in 2026? Is this a bit of an indictment on a young coaching staff, not just a manager, completely new coaching staff, first-time manager, had never coached previously? Now, it's not his fault that Manny Machado is challenging some random pitch for no reason and is wrong. It's not Craig Stammen's fault that Freddie Fermin is being thrown out at third. But when you add it all up, like it's under his umbrella,
it's sloppy.
And I don't think we said that a lot about Mike Shilt's teams, and we have said it a lot this year under Craig Stammen.
Can I ask you this? You said, I don't know if you said, how did you start that comment with Mike Schilt? Did you say something that it surprises you? Or I'm trying to think of
like the more we get away from Mike Shilt's time, the more I kind of appreciate
the
way they played under him.
I genuinely don't understand this. And I've heard a lot of people I used to listen to, obviously you guys, I've consumed a lot of Padres content. I don't understand why so many people were against Mike Schilt, where I just always kind of sat back and said, I don't give a flying what how he manages the team, and whether you like it or you don't. Are they winning or are they not? Mm-hmm. And he was winning. And I always had this and I know there's an explanation for it. I just don't know if I fully understand it.
What do you think the explanation is? I'm going to say.
Well, let me kind of, this is the portion that I have an issue with. Portion of it, people were annoyed by Mike Schilt, and they were probably annoyed by his style, and they were annoyed by his BSing
the media.
Yeah. And I always looked at it as you can BS me as much as you want, but I'm going to still be critical whenever I'm going to be critical. And I'm going to be honest whenever I'm going to be honest. At the end of the day, if you are just winning games and putting Padres in the postseason, putting the franchise in the postseason, isn't that the goal? So I always had a difficult time, I think, listening to people talk about Mike Schilt, because he didn't manage the way they wanted him to manage, where I don't think that was his job. His job was to get you into the playoffs.
Well, here's the funny thing, and I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but the funny thing is, I don't know if it was his managing as much as his interactions with the media, and people just thought he was like a tough listen. He would, and in my opinion, he was, but to your point, that's separate from the job or the task at hand, which was guiding a team to the postseason, which he did. I think, to spin it back for a second, what I now appreciate is what the Padres don't do now. They were really good on the margins. They moved runners and got them in. It wasn't sexy. They now suck in that category. They're not good with runners in scoring position. They're not good at squeaking across the run when they need to. These were some of the tenets of Mike Shilt's teams over the last 2 years. More
discipline.
Yeah, so you're right. It's about the results. It's not about interactions with the media or whether he's likable or not. I agree with you. I think Mike Schilt, the more time passes, the more we get away from it. He might be looked back on like that was a significant loss for the organization. We'll see how this all turns out. Would Schilt have a different record with this team? I have no idea.
I will tell you this. I guess the question I have is, what do you think? And I know we're bouncing around here, but we'll use Craig Stammen, we'll use Mike Schilt, we'll go back. What was the biggest concern you had I mean, when the news came out for me that Mike Schilt was stepping away from the organization and he's going to kind of leave the game, and we'll see if he manages again, I was devastated is too strong of a word, but I was like, oh, crap.
Right.
Like, we're losing a key. If you have a good manager that can get some results and you're losing that manager, that I was very, very worried about that. One of the things that I know we all talked about with Craig Stammen when he was coming in is this guy has no experience as a manager to manage a team that's trying to win today. It's okay if you're managing a squad that doesn't have expectations, where if you finish the season 500, it's like, hey, that was a much better season than we thought we were going to have. But Craig Stammen has expectations. And I think the undisciplined baseball and the sloppy baseball is very concerning. And I think it would be the equivalent of like small little things, if it's maybe it's not a good analogy, but like, are your kids, are they disciplined to clean their room before they leave, or is it not? Are they calling before they go? It's not a good example, but I'm just like, the dotting the I's and crossing the T's is imperative for an organization like the Padres, because you're just not good enough to get away with these things, and they haven't. That has not been their strength.
Well, I'll give you an example. Like, there's no world, I don't believe, that Mike Schilt would have been managing the Padres last night and Mason Miller wouldn't have started the 9th inning. It doesn't make sense. I mean, it's not saying that in hindsight. It doesn't make any sense. Jason Adam works a clean 8th inning, and now he's back out there to start the 9th inning. And not only is he out there to start the 9th inning, after the first reaches, he gets another batter. After the second reaches, he goes to Mason Miller. If Mason Miller was available to pitch in the 9th inning, he hadn't pitched, by the way, all weekend. We haven't seen him since the Clinton administration. If he was available to pitch in the 9th inning, why didn't he just start the 9th inning? That, to me, made zero sense.
Can I make
we
a
want him in the
case?
10th inning.
Well,
you got to get there.
So here's the case. Like, we understood why he was doing it. And if Manny fields a ground ball, then you got one out here. And then you're probably giving Jason Adam one more at bat to see. I understand what you're saying, and I know there's a way to manage where it's like, I can't worry about the 10th when I'm in the 9th. Exactly, I can't worry about the next day when I'm in the middle of this game. They got a little greedy or too cute, and I think he was also depending on Jason Adam as one of his stronger relievers to, hey, give me an out or two here, so at least if I do go to Mason Miller's, maybe it's a 4-out save, right? Like, maybe it's something along those lines that I get one out from Mason Miller the 9th, then I get him in the 10th with a runner on second, and see what you do from there.
But unfortunately, they didn't live to see that 10th inning.
No, they didn't.
That was the issue that played out there in the 9th. We'll hear from Craig Stammen on why Mason Miller didn't start the 9th inning coming up on the other side. Plus, a wild day to kick off NBA free agency. And Elzie Harrington, San Diego State sophomore guard, will join us coming up at 3:30. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, America is turning 250, and San Diego Sports 760 is celebrating with $250,000 in cash. Listen for your chance to win $2,500 so you can take the ultimate American getaway. Visit the states, cities, landmarks, and national parks that make our country amazing. Win your share of $250,000. Just listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win is coming up after 5 p.m. on San Diego Sports 760.
Elzie Harrington, Aztec sophomore guard, will join us live at 3:30. Summer practices getting underway in July. He's coming off a leg surgery, so he's rehabbing. We'll get into that with Elzie Harrington coming up in 10 minutes.
If they need help, like just shag some rebounds, you know what I mean?
It's not.
Grab a couple of boards. And I will tell you this, my passes are going to be on the money. I get him right in the chest where he's just instantly in for his shot.
Oh, they'll let you know. Listen, they'll call you. Don't call them.
Well, I haven't even made a pitch yet, so I'm not even 100% sure.
No, it's basketball. You don't. It's not a pitch.
I'm not even 100% sure if I'm available. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to having a conversation with Dutch, a little kind of sit down and say, Dutch, what are you looking for here?
Elzie Harrington in 10 minutes. Let's switch gears to NBA free agency in a moment. But first, can we hear from Craig Stammen? This was the methodology, the thought process from Stammen last night, not using Mason Miller to start the ninth inning in the loss.
Yeah, definitely, thought about it. Felt like with what we had left in the bullpen, that was our, way we wanted to go about it. And Jason threw a really good eighth inning. Felt he was going to, started with Swanson at the bottom. It was a good matchup for him. A couple really not hard hits. So, once he got a couple guys on base, then it was time to go to Mason and see if we could close it out. And, so be what happened.
I think one of the issues with what he said, Alan, was that what they had available in their bullpen behind Mason Miller, that's because their starters don't provide them length. Mm-hmm. And even though yesterday Griffin Canning was good enough, he only went 4 1/3 innings. And this has been a constant issue with this team.
4 1/3 is like a complete game for this rotation.
It's a no-hitter, yeah. That's true.
4 1/3, we're celebrating. Yeah, listen, I go back to it. They didn't lose the game in the ninth. They didn't lose the game because Jason Adam. They didn't lose the game because I don't think so. I think they lost the game in the first 4 or 5 innings.
Yeah, that too.
You can't have 2 runs off 9 hits that they had on Cup starting pitcher.
Oh, okay.
They had 9 hits on him.
Gotcha.
And I think, I remember I'm watching the game here and I'm saying to myself, I'm like, and they had a couple of different innings where you got 2 runners on, guys at second and third, you don't cash in.
Yep.
I'm saying to myself, like, this is going to cost them. Like, it's just, you got a chance, and Machado had a quote after the game, but you got a chance to blow this thing open or you keep the Cubbies in it.
Yep.
And they kept the Cubbies in it. And I'm not saying that the decision, I get the Jason Adam decision. Okay, I get it. It didn't churn out. I understand what he was trying to do, and I get exactly what you're talking about in regards to why are you thinking of the 10th when you're in the 9th? And I think that is a Mike Schilt thing. I think a Schilt is, I can't worry about the 10th. I'm in the 9th. So if I got to use Mason Miller the 9th just to get to the 10th, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take my chances. I'm not going to be too cute, but they didn't play clean baseball. They didn't take advantage of runners in scoring position. And that was well before the 9th inning. I think the game was almost decided before then.
Yeah, no, that's well said. That's well said. We'll get back into it. Annie Heilbrunn from the UT will join us coming up at 4 p.m. Alan, I don't know if you saw this news. I hope you did, because you cover the NBA and specifically the Lakers as well on your YouTube channel. There was this, in fact, you called me this morning. Listen to this. Alan calls me at like 9:05 in the morning.
So we do a talk after my show.
Yeah, and he does a show at 8 in the morning. And literally, I'm at my computer, and I had seen within the last maybe 90 seconds, no joke, that LeBron was leaving LA. It was that soon. And I get a call from you knowing that you were just on a show. I'm like, you saw this LeBron thing, right? Because it was like in this weird time where you had been on for 60 minutes, but now you were calling me. And you're like, yeah, that's why I'm calling. I'm about to go back on my show. I'm going to do your thing. But LeBron leaving, we spent a lot of time on this. I mean, it wasn't as clear as day if that would happen or not. LeBron leaving, Kawhi back to Toronto, a significant day as free agency gets back underway in the NBA.
Yeah, the LeBron piece of it, such an interesting tenure with the Lakers. And I watched Lakers my entire life. Obviously, I'm a big NBA fan. Grew up a Laker fan, and this is one of the more kind of interesting tenures I've ever seen in franchise history. Now, granted, I it's not like I'm dating back to Wilt Chamberlain and watching the Lakers.
Dating back 40 years.
But I think there's a piece here that's Man, I cannot tell you how many Laker fans are so happy.
That is interesting.
His tenure is done with the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, literally, Cousins are, I'm going to start watching them again. Here's a guy that will go down as top 2, top 3 greatest to ever play the game. Spent 8 years with the Los Angeles Lakers, won an NBA championship with the Lakers, and everyone is, I think there's a huge portion of Laker fans that are excited to see him go. I'll tell you, I think a lot of this has to do with Luka Dončić is waiting in the wings. A lot of this is like, you got already a top 5 player in the league that you're officially handing the keys over to. And Luka's going to be exciting. He's going to be, he's going to be exactly what he is, which is one of the best players in the league. But it's an interesting dynamic to see how people have reacted to LeBron James. You and I were talking about during one of the breaks, I think before the show started, you were watching LeBron when he was in freaking high school.
I saw him in Philadelphia at the Palestra. When he was at St. Vincent St. Mary. And it was a lifetime ago.
24 years ago, 25 years ago.
Was I in high school?
25 years
in
ago.
college? I guess I was in college.
How old am he is.
I'm 5 years older than him. So I was in college. He was in high school?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. And here he is still in the league. And he's going to end up on another squad. And we'll see, where he ends up going. But I think this news, it's significant. This is big news today. I think obviously around the NBA. And LeBron finds a way, free agency just started 25 minutes ago, but LeBron finds a way to be top of the news cycle again. This dude's been running the news cycle for 20 plus years in the league.
The King is going to look good in that Kings uniform, isn't he? To see him put that on for a first time in Sacramento, it's going to be special.
It will take his legacy to a different level.
Yeah, not a good one, though, if that's the way it plays out. All right, Elzie Harrington, San Diego State's sophomore point guard, coming back from injury for year 2 on the Mesa. We're going to catch up with him live coming up on the other side. Annie Heilbrunn from the UT on the Padres at 4 p.m. Schaefer and Sliwa, stay with us on 760.
This report is sponsored by rockauto.com. The Padres are in Chicago getting set for game 2 of their series tonight against the Cubs. It's going to be JP Sears going for San Diego and Matthew Boyd going for the Cubs. First pitch is at 5:05. In NBA news today, LeBron James informed the Lakers that he plans to play elsewhere next season, and the Clippers are nearing an agreement to trade Kawhi Leonard to the Raptors for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 2 unprotected first rounders, a 1 pick swap, and 2 second rounders, according to ESPN. In World Cup news, we got one final from earlier today. Norway defeated the Ivory Coast 2-1, and right now France is up on Sweden 2-0. Grinding and squealing are signs it's time for new brakes. Skip the hassle of searching for the right parts and shop rockauto.com. Find trusted name brand parts at lower prices and have them shipped directly to your door. All the parts your car will ever need at Rock Auto.
All right, it's going to be here before we know it. San Diego State men's basketball on the Mesa. Of course, you can hear the Aztecs right here on 760. Great to reconnect with Elzie Harrington, coming off a standout freshman year on the Mesa, back for year 2 at San Diego State. So, Elzie, you're on with John Schaefer and Alan Slewa. Thanks for hopping on today. Hope all is well.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys so much for having me.
All right, so let's start. I want to look back on year 1, and then we can also talk about your off season here. I know you're rehabbing from that leg injury. How do you look back on your freshman year, the adversity? I mean, you're thrust into the starting lineup, which is an incredible opportunity. You also were dealing with that injury. How do you look back on your first year in college?
Yeah, I mean, I think I did okay. I think it was very up and down. There's a lot of, I think, great moments, but there's also a lot of moments that I had to learn from. And I mean, ultimately, I'm just super grateful for the experience I had. I know I'll be a lot more confident going into this year. And also all the people I met, all my teammates from last year, and just all the relationships I've built. I'm just super grateful for my freshman year.
Elzie, what did you focus on in the offseason? What are you hoping that you could take away from your freshman year? Like you said, you're going to be more comfortable. You're going to be more confident. What a part of your game will you be adding, you think, to this upcoming season?
I mean, it's been a little difficult. Like, obviously, I've been dealing with the injuries, so I've been rehabbing a lot. But I've been focused on gaining weight. I feel like it'll be a lot easier for me next year if I add, 15 pounds of muscle and able to apply that during the season next year. But I mean, I'd like to improve my handle, obviously get in better shape next year, be able to guard better. And something that I can't really work on right now that Coach Dutch has talked to me about is rebounding. And so hopefully, when I get back out there, I can work on rebounding the ball a lot better. So those would be my main, points this offseason.
I gained a little weight in the offseason too. I don't think that helps, LZ. I don't know if that's something I want to mention to you, but I think we could at least relate to that. That's good. That's good.
Elzie Harrington with us right now. San Diego State standout sophomore guard, Schaefer and Slee with San Diego Sports 760. For our listeners, LZ, can you explain what you were dealing with last year when it came to the leg? And is that something you were dealing with even when you were younger, or is that something that presented itself last year?
Yeah, so basically my senior year of high school, I got hit in the back of my leg. And, when a bone breaks, a callus forms, to heal it pretty much. And so, I got hit, but nothing broke. But, my body reacted like it did. And so, over my high school senior season, I was all right. I dealt with some pain here and there, but, my load wasn't, it just wasn't as high as it would be when I got to college. And so, when I got to college, and I don't know, the workouts were just a lot more intense, and I just had more of them. That inflammation caused the bone that had slowly grown to hit my nerve, and so it struck the nerve, and then it was causing a bunch of pain down my whole leg. So after season, they had to go in and basically take the whole, extra bone spur, I guess if you want to call that, out of my leg. And yeah, I'm going to be 8 weeks post-surgery on Thursday. So Yeah.
So do you expect to follow up on that with Elzie Harrington? What's your timetable in terms of what's your confidence that you'll be ready to go when the season starts? You still have, 3 or 4 months? Will you be good to go by the time the season starts?
Yeah. I mean, the surgery was good. All the post-ops were good. I'm currently doing a bunch of stationary stuff, like stationary shooting, stationary ball handling, but I should be back sometime in August. That's the goal. So,
Elzie Harrington joining us here, of course, sophomore guard for San Diego State University. Elzie, what's your take us maybe a little bit behind the scenes? Talk to us about what we should. Again, we got some time here, but what should we be expecting from San Diego State University this upcoming season? Obviously, a part of the Pac-12, and we're turning a new page and a new chapter as far as conferences go. What's your thoughts on the upcoming season?
Oh yeah, like you said, we're obviously super excited for the moves to the Pac-12. I mean, we got to get back to the tournament. I'm very sad that I didn't get to play an NCAA tournament my freshman year. So I mean, that's the biggest thing I'm focused on. But I mean, we have a great team. We got about half the guys down right now, and I mean, practice has been great. Everyone's accepting coaching. They're playing hard, and it's only been about 6 or 7 days of practice out there. So I think we should be really good. I'm excited to get the international guys down here, in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I know we have a great team. We'll be ready to compete and win a lot of games next year. So.
Tell us about your relationship with last year, a fellow freshman in your same recruiting class, Tay Simmons, who like yourself had some really significant minutes in his freshman year. What has that relationship been like, and how's it grown as you guys are together now for a second year?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I mean, I think when I first got to school, I was more reserved, and I was just kind of on my own path, worried about coming here to do what I need to do. And I think as the season just went on, you have those freshman experiences, and I shared all of them with Tay, and so we just kind of bonded over, if you want to call it, the trauma of practice and the weight room and all that stuff. And then obviously, I probably spend the most time with him off the court as well, whether it's getting food or I don't know, playing 2K or doing whatever. So we're super close, and that's a big thing I'm grateful for. Being down here in San Diego. So,
Elzie, quick one on Dutch, Brian Dutcher. What's been your experience having Dutch? Obviously, he's done such a phenomenal job with the program. I love what you said when I said, "What can we expect this season?" You're like, "I want to make the tournament." Those are the expectations. What's it like just being around Dutch and obviously the coaching staff and how they've been able to kind of help your journey so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. They're just obviously super supportive of me. They've been super supportive, not only when, I got here last year and dealing with everything with my family and my dad and stuff, but even through this injury. It's just great that, Coach Dutch and even the whole staff, through adversity, they really make it known, that they're here for you, and, they'll do whatever's best for you, that's what they want. And so that's just been something I'm very appreciative of. And, also he's really funny. He makes a lot of jokes at practice. He's just a great guy to be around, and a great guy to, be my head coach. So.
Elzie Harrington is San Diego State sophomore guard. He's with us right now on Schaefer and Sliwa. A year ago, you're put into the starting lineup so early in your tenure, and you were playing a ton of point. You also played, obviously, off ball as well. What is your preference? Do you prefer playing on ball or off ball, or how do you see it?
I think it depends, who I'm playing with. I think it might also depend on, the matchup that night. I think a lot in high school, if I had a super small pesky guard me, I would just throw it to whoever inbounded the ball to me and run up the court. I didn't want to deal with that. I don't want to waste energy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think it depends, some on who I'm playing with, some maybe on who's on the other team. But I can do both, and I think that's what makes me, good and special, because I can play multiple positions. So doesn't really matter.
I like that answer. Yeah. Pesky guard, get the ball out of here. Just let me jog up the floor here. LZ, quick question, and I obviously not sure who you grew up with or who you grew up rooting for, if you're a big NBA fan or not. But what do you make here? This kind of an interesting day. You got potentially, LeBron obviously leaving the Los Angeles Lakers. Kawhi Leonard, it looks like, on his way out. Former Aztec leaving the Los Angeles Clippers. How much you fall in the NBA, and what do you make of some of the movement?
Yeah, I mean, I walked in the locker room today and Tay told me about the whole Kawhi thing. I was like, what the heck? I mean, I think it's crazy. I think this whole year, the NBA has been pretty crazy. Like the Knicks win the championship. There's a whole lot of crazy stuff. So honestly, I expect nothing less. I'm a little surprised that LeBron didn't announce his retirement. That's what I was expecting. But yeah, it's cool to see all this stuff. Hopefully he can team up with Curry. That'd be really cool to watch. Yeah, it's crazy though. I don't know.
Yeah, LeBron's got a couple more checks to cash before it's all said and done.
You might be playing with him, LZ. Yeah. Honestly, you stay. Shoot around the league in the next couple of years. You'll be playing with. Can I just ask you on that before we let you run? And we appreciate you taking time. Obviously, for you, I think you've made it clear publicly. Most players that play at a level like San Diego State have obviously aspirations of playing in the NBA. How do you see your game as you look at yourself 12 months from now or 24 months from now? How do you see your game translating to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, I see it translating a lot. I think, obviously, that's the main thing Coach Beth was telling me. Like, you need to gain some weight if you want to play at the next level. There's no, they're big. Like, there's grown men out there. And I think in doing that and continuing to grow my IQ, also rebounding will translate. Doing things like that, because, you're not going to walk in the NBA and be a star. There's only a couple of those guys. And so, and that's another reason I chose San Diego State is, learn how to play defense and just play super hard. That's what gets you to get to the NBA and then stay there for some time. And so I think, learning how to play defense the right way, all those things that will get me in the door and allow me to have a long career. So, yeah.
Well, you keep shooting 43% from the 3-point line. You'll be in the league. So great stuff, man. We appreciate you coming on the show, and obviously great to catch up with you as well.
Thanks, LC. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, great stuff. I mean, just a terrific young man. He really is.
Those numbers, his stats are absurd.
Unbelievable, right?
Now, I know it's not high. I know it's not high volume, but brother, if you're 43% from three, here's another kind of telling fact on that. He's over 80% from the free throw line. He's a natural shooter.
Yeah, he can score. No doubt. Really good conversation. And Elzie Harrington back for year 2 on the Mesa. By the way, we'll have a summer series for you. We'll be talking to a lot of Aztecs men's basketball players between now and the start of the season in November. Annie Heilbrunn will join us at 4 p.m. Back to the Padres and NBA free agency. On the other side, Kobe Price from the California Post will join us. The latest of the Lakers coming up at 4:30 here on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Annie Heilbrunn will join us from the UT coming up at 4 p.m. Alan has something he'd like to tell you as well.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. Live performance by the Goo Goo Dolls, Kenny Chesney, Lainey Wilson, Snoop Dogg, Weezer, and more. September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. Now's your chance to buy tickets at AXS.com. Get them now before they sell out, Mr. John Schaefer.
Can I give you 2 kind of quasi-developing news stories that I think you'll find interesting? I don't think you've heard one of them. It has to do with the NBA, not free agency.
Okay.
Tell me if you've heard this. It literally just came down from Shams. The NBA will hold the NBA Cup next year at Butler's Hinkle Fieldhouse, the iconic college venue in Indianapolis. So no longer Vegas. They're going to go to Indianapolis's Hinkle Fieldhouse, not the home of the Pacers, the home of the Butler Bulldogs. Interesting. That's where the championship game will be. What's your reaction to that? From Vegas to Indianapolis.
I like it.
In December.
I like it.
Okay.
I think you're going to get some true, authentic fans that want to watch NBA basketball. I mean, let me just give you, whether you're a fan of the NBA Cup or not, it was the Knicks and the Spurs in this year's NBA Cup.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's
that
right.
ended up being the NBA Finals.
Right. Good point.
Right? So, like, the quality of play, and I actually think, in a weird way, I think the Cup is fitting itself nicely into the NBA because there's 82 games, probably 12 to 20 games too many.
Sure.
So you kind of get a little bit of a break.
Off. Yeah.
It just kind of makes it look a little different. I like that. I think that's a good idea. Remember how you and I were talking about this? We always have trying to get a San Diego angle here.
Yeah.
Remember we were talking about, I'm like, hey, do you think the NFL draft will be in cities that are not, that don't have an NFL team? I think this is kind of an interesting angle to take, and I like it. I got no issue with it.
Yeah, what I like about it is it's one thing to hold it in Indianapolis, which is a great, easy to get. A lot of events are in Indianapolis, right? Kind of the middle of the country, a lot of conventions, but they're not holding it downtown where the Pacers play. I think it's neat that you give it like that. I mean, Hinkle, I mentioned
how big is it earlier. Do you have any idea?
I've called a game there once. It's like 10,000. It's an amazing building.
Oh, that's small.
It may be 12. Brent, look that up, Hinkle. It's a ridiculous building. I don't know how to describe it. It's, again, the Palestra in Philadelphia is one of these iconic buildings like that that's college first. Hinkle is similar to the Palestra. I think it's larger. How big is it, Brent?
9,100.
9,000. How about that? So that's, for a championship game, that's going to be incredible.
That's really cool.
That's going to be really neat atmosphere.
I like that. That's different. And that's not, typically the NBA and a lot of these sports leagues, they don't do something for the people.
Good point.
And that kind of sounds like that's a little bit for, we'll lob one of these in here. What do they typically do? They're like, let's. By the way, if you'd have told me they were going to put the NBA Cup in a 30,000 seat stadium, I don't even have one in mind, I would not be surprised at all. The fact that they kind of went the other way and left Vegas.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What do you think is the best-selling team kit from Adidas this World Cup? What nation has sold the most jerseys for Adidas?
Is this give me one hint here. Is this kind of like, I would be surprised?
No, I don't think you would.
Okay.
But it's not what I would consider to be like, I don't even know who's Adidas compared to Nike. So that's what can make it challenging. We went in an Adidas store, by the way, in Monterey. Remember?
It's Mexico.
It's Mexico.
It is.
Mexico is outpacing every other Adidas
Mexico,
jersey.
Man.
And we were down there, and you're going back there, I think, within the next week. I mean, the passion is unbelievable. And their national team has had all the success, obviously, this summer as well. So it's Mexico, not, I don't even know if France is Adidas, but you know the point. It's not Spain. It's the Mexican national team.
I had a cousin of mine who went to, I think it was in Philadelphia, when Iraq played France last week.
Okay.
And, my family originally from Iraq. So there was actually a lot of Iraqi support. I mean, you're going to get to watch Mbappe in France, and they're going to Philadelphia.
Oh, we watched that. That was the weather delay game.
It's exactly.
There was like 2 hours
thunder or whatever
for
was going on,
lightning.
or the lightning.
So,
but he's shown me some videos of that, and I'm like, awesome. And then I'm showing him, I'm like, this is Japan, Tunisia,
right? Exactly.
From Monterey, Mexico. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah.
The whole thing has been incredible. It really has.
Awesome.
By the way, you can hear Team USA tomorrow afternoon, right here on 760. Pre-match coverage beginning at 4:30. Team USA, Bosnia, tomorrow in the round of 32. Where is that? Santa Clara? I think so.
Santa Clara.
In Santa Clara, you can hear it right here.
Yeah, so the broadcast starts at 4:30.
Yep. Game at 5?
Game's at 5, but we'll still do our show. We'll just be quieter underneath.
Yeah, I love that. But, the Padres are also playing.
While the broadcast is going on, we'll just be kind of underneath talking to each other.
We're on from 3 to 4:30 tomorrow. Mm-hmm. All right. What is more surprising to you today? Mm-hmm. Kawhi Leonard's departure via trade, reportedly. It's a significant trade, by the way. Toronto's giving up a good amount. Or LeBron walking away, seems like very amicably, by the way. Lakers, a very nice post. LeBron quote tweeting it, thanking LA and the Lakers for his time there. Which to you comes as more of a surprise, if either?
LeBron to me, LeBron is gotta be honest, I was a little shocked this morning. You know, I was in the middle of a live show.
You're like, wait, what?
I was like an hour and 10 minutes into it. And somebody that we've had on that's just so great around free agency, Eric Pincus, was on a Bleacher Report, and him and I were talking, and my producer in the background just like shares the screen on YouTube. Obviously, it's a lot different. Everything's visual. Just breaking news, Shams Charania. And I had to read it twice. I'm like, by the way, the wording of him leaving, I was so confused. I was like, so wait, is he leaving or is he not?
It was a very long post. It's like, he may be departing this summer. I was like, wait, what?
I was like, Shams, what is he?
Just tell us.
Is he going or is he staying?
LeBron will leave the Lakers.
He's leaving the Lakers, right? But that to me was it was a shock. It really was, and I think that is a bigger surprise because I think the Kawhi thing. There have been some rumors that he may go, and I think these last couple of days we saw some of the rumors with Toronto. By the way, let me just kind of throw this out with the Clippers. What an interesting tenure
for LeBron, or excuse me, for Kawhi. Yeah, for Kawhi.
Remember, this was a time where he was making a decision between the Lakers and the Clippers. Makes the decision, and it's based off of, if you want me, you got to also get Paul George. I remember one time it was Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers, that was, I guess, speaking to his front office executives. And he's like, we're giving up a lot of picks for Paul George. And they said, yeah, but you got to look at it this way. You're getting Kawhi and Paul George.
Yeah, you don't get Kawhi without it. Right.
And about a week ago, you and I were sitting here and they had on this screen that the Oklahoma City Thunder were still making picks from that trade.
Or like last week.
Last week from that trade. And, I think the Kawhi Leonard tenure with the Los Angeles Clippers, it clearly did not go as planned. They still have never been to an NBA Finals. They gave up so many assets. The assets they gave up helped the Oklahoma City Thunder win an NBA championship and start their own little dynasty. Like, when you do really look at it, the Kawhi Leonard time with the Clippers, it wasn't a catastrophe, but it really did not go as planned. I would make the argument easily that the Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan, that tenure of Clippers basketball was much better than this tenure that included PG and Kawhi Leonard.
What if he would have gone to
the Lakers? They don't want. Yeah, they don't want at least two chips.
I agree. Yeah. What if he would have gone?
Yeah.
To the Lakers. All right, we'll get back to it, of course, with Kobe Price. California posted 4:30. But up next, Annie Heilbrunn on the reeling Padres. They've lost 3 straight. Miscue-laden baseball yesterday in Chicago. Annie Heilbrunn from the UT joins us next on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. DraftKings is live in all 50 states. Yes, that means you, California, win or go home. That's it. That's the knockout round. And DraftKings has you covered for every single match.
The DraftKings Sports app is now live in California. So whether you're catching the early kickoff before work or the late match at the bar, you're in on every minute, every match, every moment, all in one app right here in California. The world's biggest stage is in the palm of your hand. New DraftKings customers sign up with a code SD760. Spend $5 to get $200 in total rewards. That's code SD760.
In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click to claim. Issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends July 19th. Terms, dkng.co/predictions promo.
This report is sponsored by rockauto.com. Padres and Cubs are in Chicago getting set for game 2 of their series at Wrigley Field. It's going to be JP Sears going for San Diego and Matthew Boyd going for the Cubs. First pitch is at 5:05. In NBA news, LeBron James informed the Lakers today that he plans to play elsewhere next season. And the Clippers are nearing a deal to trade Kawhi Leonard to the Raptors for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 2 unprotected first-round picks, 1 pick swap, and 2 second-rounders, according to ESPN. We got a couple finals in now from the World Cup. Earlier today, Norway defeated the Ivory Coast 2-1. And it just went final a couple minutes ago. France defeated Sweden 3-0. Grinding and squealing are signs it's time for new brakes. Skip the hassle of searching for the right parts and shop rockauto.com. Find trusted brand name parts at lower prices and have them shipped directly to your door. All the parts your car will ever need at Rock Auto.
All right, hour 2, Schaefer and Slee with San Diego Sports 760. Let's turn our attention back to the San Diego Padres. We have to do it. They've lost 3 straight. And our dear friend, Annie Heilbrunn from the Union-Tribune back with us here on Schaefer and Slee. Annie, first of all, thanks for doing it. Hope all is well.
John Allen, always great to be on with you guys, and all is well. Hope it is with you guys too. I did have a bone to pick, which is that you were going to bump me for LeBron James, which I can't believe.
No, it was Kawhi. It was
Yeah,
Kawhi.
it was
Kawhi. Okay, well,
right.
I figured you'd
okay,
understand.
Kawhi gets a pass. I thought it was LeBron, and I was like, no, that shouldn't be happening. But
Yeah.
Kawhi, yes, we can allow that.
Annie, just to let you know, I told John, I said, listen, let's just talk to them both at the same time. You could talk to Kawhi.
That'd be
I'll
amazing.
talk to Annie.
Imagine that interview.
I
We're
thought
with Annie
that's not a
Heilbrunn from the UT and
And I'm
Kawhi
with
Leonard.
Just patch us through and let me talk to Kawhi.
Oh, I like
You guys
that.
are just saying-
Well,
Take
he's
the
saying-
middle. Basically, she's taking the middleman out here. She's on it.
I was
She's
going to
on
say
it.
this real quick, Annie, and we're so off topic right now. You've done so many really good features over your career. A lot of them centered, correct me if I'm wrong, obviously around baseball and the Padres specifically. You never interviewed like a Kawhi going back to like San Diego State days, right?
No, and I wish I could have and would have. There was a short time with the Union-Tribune that I was more involved with covering San Diego State basketball. But, it was also different times then and different availabilities to talk to players and stuff like that. So I definitely enjoyed it, though. It was like the Matt Mitchell days, and all
Great
that.
teams.
So that's, right. But, who am I thinking of? Jeremy.
Jordan Shackle?
Jordan Shackle.
Jeremy
yes.
Hemsley?
Exactly. Yeah. But I wish it would have been cool to cover Kawhi. Definitely.
Andy, just to jump on last night's game, and John and I talked a little bit about this. I mean, obviously, how can you not? We understand that this team just doesn't have much margin for error, and they almost, all right, maybe they don't have to play perfect baseball to win a game against the Cubs, but what are some of the things that just stick out to you when you watch Padres baseball? Is it safe to say it's not clean baseball? They're not doing the little things that they're so desperate to need to do just based off of their talent and some of their struggles. Was last night's game just a great example of some of the struggles?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely a very slim margin for error. And you know what? Last night's game, I feel like was a bit of an anomaly. It seemed like there was just a lot of missteps in last night's game. I haven't looked lately at what like their errors are, but I know for most of the beginning of the season, they didn't have a lot of errors as compared to other major league teams. It wasn't like they were messing up all the time, but it's just, I think what it is what you just said. It's magnified because they have such a slim margin for error, because the starting pitching is hanging on by a thread, because the offense can't seem to get the big hits, because the challenges aren't going the way that they would hope. And I feel like last night's game, it was kind of all happening. Some games we see one of those things happening or whatnot, but last night it felt like all of that was happening at once.
Annie Heilbrunn from the UT with us right now. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. I know you've written about this and posted about it, and you mentioned the starting pitching. Like, can it be fixed, so to speak? I mean, AJ can do his work, and there's a trade deadline, and who knows about Nick Pivetta or Joe Musgrove, but like, the issues at hand where you're not getting the length, or even if you do, the pitchers haven't been effective. Is this fixable, so to speak, in the second half of the year or not?
It is a really good question, because I think that there's concerns that that it's not. I mean, I could see how people might be concerned that it's not. I don't know that it is. I kind of look at it and it's like, okay, you have guys like Griffin Canning who weren't expected to be your ace, but you're kind of looking at him now like you need more from him because you've lost Nick Pivetta and Joe Musgrove, and Lucas Giolito hasn't turned out to be who you hoped so far, and Randy Vasquez is up and down, and now Michael King has been more inconsistent. It's like you're, even me, I'm looking at some of these guys and really where we should be glad if they make it to the fifth, guys like Griffin Canning or Walker Buehler, who has been their best pitcher so far. It's like I know I'm looking at them like, no, you gotta dig deep. You gotta try to make it through the fifth. You gotta try to get to at least allow the bullpen to come in the sixth, not in the fifth or in the fourth. And certainly we've seen a lot of really bad starts from these guys, right? But like yesterday wasn't a terrible start from Griffin Canning. It's just there's such a low bar now, and you don't know who else you can depend on. That some of these guys, more is being asked of them than I think that they reasonably expected to maybe even Ruben Niebla reasonably expected for them to be able to give at this point in the season. And I look at guys like Michael King and Randy Vasquez. I think you have to hold them to a higher standard, even though that's kind of unfair for Michael King, because he is also working off of a weird year last year where he was injured. He didn't pitch a lot. So he's also kind of still working back. But heck, now you're in July, right? And so I do think there's an expectation where you've got to kind of have figured it out and be the ace that this team needs you to be, as maybe unfair as that is to Michael King because you've lost Pivetta and Musgrove. I know this is a long answer, but it's like, it's a very bad conundrum I think that they're in, because I really wonder too if Craig Stammen's going to end up having to, I think what he's been doing is trying to really save them from themselves, trying to really, like, before it blows up, I'm going to move you, I'm going to take you out, I'm going to let the bullpen guy come in. But especially in this stretch of 17 games in 17 days, I think they might be at a point where I'd be interested to see, they might leave these guys out, like, sink or swim, we can't burn the bullpen. And if that means we lose some games, that maybe is a sacrifice you make so that the bullpen arms are not completely shot in the second half, which they are on their way to being at this point. So not only, you might win some games, but you're going to lose the war sort of thing, so it's really going to be tricky for them. Even Craig said last night, he was trying to figure out how they could get through last night's game, and then not to mention today's game, and then the next day's game. And so I feel like, if you're AJ Preller, I know there's not a lot of starting pitching out there, but maybe you're looking for bodies right now or something, that you can maybe fortify and get hopefully like a Martin Perez type like they had a few years ago, that can give you a good 5 or 6 innings consistently. Because the only guy that they've had doing that is Walker Buehler.
Annie Heilbrunn taking some time to join us here on the Schaefer and Sliwa show. Annie, I was just looking at the standings here, and Miami now in front of the Padres. Obviously, St. Louis was in front. It's not like they're 5 games in front or Padres are 5 games behind a wild card, but there's obviously some teams now not only catching up to the Padres, but passing them. If we're to get towards that trade deadline and AJ Preller's got some decisions to make, what is it that you think he has to see over this next stretch of, let's call it 3 weeks or so, to convince him that, I'm going to keep investing? And they could also, and we've talked about this before, they could just be so far in that they just have no choice but to continue to invest. But what do you think he needs to see, and what do you think the team has to do for him to feel comfortable about continuing to invest in them?
I think he's investing unless the team drops to like out of contention, like maybe like the starting pitching, maybe they lose the next 10 games or something. Even then, I think he could still be in. But I think that he is investing now. Now, how much does he invest? Right? Like, does he sell off a huge chunk of good farm players or whoever they have that's good down there? His best options, I guess. Or does he really kind of move on the margins? And I think a really big part of that is going to be too, where's the ownership thing at? And I don't think that the owners necessarily have to have come in by then, because, some of the stuff that we're hearing is maybe that they've kind of said, hey, go forward with this. We've got you once we take over, that sort of thing. But that's what we don't know. We don't really know how much lease he has there. But yeah, I think if they're still in it, here's what I know. I know that they're looking at the offense and they're saying, okay, they're starting to look a little bit more like themselves. Like, they're maybe not getting the big hit when they need it, but they're getting more hits. They're getting on in scoring position more. They're getting closer. And then I know that they're looking at the National League West, or the National League as a whole, and they're saying this thing is so bunched up, it's anybody's to win. So I know that both of those things are kind of working in the favor of, we're going to go, we're going to keep pushing with this thing, But yeah, I think it's a real mystery how far deep that they go. But I really think that this team kind of needs to somewhat fall off a cliff for them not to pursue it in some form or fashion.
Completely agree with that. Annie, final one for me is you wrote a fascinating piece, an inside look at like Tommy John and the impact that surgery has on pitchers, specifically some of these Padres that you spoke with. What did you find most interesting? It's such an odd procedure. There are no guarantees on the other side. Some guys recover quicker than others. What did you find most fascinating as you wrote on that piece?
Yeah, it honestly was so fascinating to me. First of all, I never really stopped to think about the fact that they take a tendon that has to like morph into a ligament, and they drill like holes in the bone to like weave through. Like it's the whole thing is crazy, but it's really like, Walker, there was quotes that we for space reasons didn't get to use, but like Walker talked about how like your mind can't catch up with your body. Like it's almost like the talent doesn't leave. It's the velocity is still in there for him, but he described it as PTSD, but he really wanted to be careful that people with actual PTSD, he's not comparing it to that. That's obviously much more serious. But that he, it's like his elbow feels the weight of the 2 surgeries and the scar tissue and everything else. And in certain adrenaline situations, like in a World Series run or things like that, he's like, your mind can sort of overtake that. But otherwise it's like, you're struggling to like, your elbow just doesn't want to let you do it. Your body doesn't want to let you do it because it's got so much, like residual pain that it's had to work through over these years. So there's just this whole mental component, but also, if you're younger, the chance of you coming back and having a successful sort of surgery, I think are a lot better if it's your first one and you don't have a lot of mileage on your arm. For a lot of these guys with a lot of mileage on their arm, it is a minor miracle that they make it back and that they have successful careers afterwards. Like some of them have, like Evaldi and even what we saw from Dustin May and all that. And maybe what we're seeing from Walker Buehler, like it's definitely more rare than not. And I think when you look at like Joe Musgrove and how he talked about having to rehab all these other things in his arm, right? He's got the cartilage issue. He's got the bone spurs. He's got all these other things that like the Tommy John is just a little part of that has kind of, worked its way into these other things that now have to heal and how frustrating that is, So I still think we're going to see him back. But I do think that you're going to look at it. It's probably going to be a different version of Joe Musgrove that I think he hasn't even figured out quite yet who that's going to be.
It's crazy because you go back like a half century, you had this injury, you were done, right? And then Tommy John comes around, the pitcher, which is the surgery's named after, and 50 years later, it's like we just take it as, they're going to come back bigger and stronger and all these things. It's not necessarily the case, although it is crazy how commonplace it is. You see pitchers in high school and college experiencing it. It's kind of insane.
Yeah. Yeah. And like TJ Antoine talked about how like the parents and the high schoolers reach out to him and act like it's like going to get a cavity filled.
You know, just need to have Tommy John. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And but the other thing is that, John, like it's an amazing surgery. Like these guys would be out. They wouldn't be pitching anymore if they weren't able to have it. So 100%. On the one hand, like you're so grateful for the surgery. And on the other hand, you're like, hope I come back. Okay.
Yeah, no doubt. Annie, we appreciate you taking time for us. Great work, as always, with the Union-Tribune. And thanks for joining us. I'm sure we'll bother you again in a couple of weeks.
Oh, please do, guys. Anytime. And we'll see what's in store for us tonight with those Padres. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Great stuff from Annie Heilbrunn at the UT. Padres Cubs playing game 2 coming up tonight at 5.
She's such a good vibe. It's like when we're done talking to her, I feel better about the Padres, even though our conversation we could have all had negative conversations. It's a good vibe there.
Uplifting. I love talking to Annie. So we appreciate Annie hopping on here.
You just crashed me down now.
Kobe Price, California Post. Where did the Lakers turn without LeBron? He'll join us coming up at 4:30 plus, getting you ready for game 2 of the Padres and the Cubs. Stay with us on Schaefer and Slay with San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
It's the middle of an M&M right there. San Diego Sports 760, your home for live coverage of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Get daily match updates from the opening match to the final, July 19th. Hear live play-by-play of the most anticipated games in every USA match. 2026 World Cup coverage lives on San Diego Sports 760. I got an issue in the kitchen.
You have an issue in the kitchen?
Yeah, we got an issue over there.
Okay.
I can't time this thing with the trail mix.
The trail, it'll flood out.
I can't time it.
Right. You're either getting like 2 peanuts or you're getting 1,000 peanuts.
Let me just say, this is not just a iHeart Kitchen situation. Go to any one of these places. You go to like a Sprouts, Whole Foods. You want to get like whatever it is. You want to get some nuts, trail mix, bananas, whatever you're getting, right?
Bananas? Do they have bananas in the
chips.
machine? Okay.
Yeah, I like banana chips. Okay.
I thought bananas came out. I just got 40 bananas.
Brother, I touched
like that old
thing.
Play-Doh thing. They're just squeezing through.
Right.
I'm telling you, Brent, I touch it, and it just, the floodgates open.
Well, have you considered a company that can like eradicate? I don't know if eradicate is the right word, but like
eradicate is definitely not the right word. like at all.
A company that could make a something that makes this work better.
That's where we got to come.
That's where we got to go. Schaefer and Sliwa.
Yep.
Is the brand.
And it's just a huge photo of both of our faces, and we're both like this.
Like thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up into the camera.
I don't love it. But I like the idea.
Do you have the same issue?
Oh, it's the worst. I'll pull that thing, that handle. Sometimes you either are getting 8 calories of food or 8,000, right? You could walk away from there with a full day's diet.
I got people walking by like, are you really going to eat that much? I'm like, no, dude, I'm not trying to.
I want to bring a bucket. Because you pull that handle and you might need like
freaking comes down
64 ounces of trail mix.
You just got to go in shorter bursts.
Yeah.
Just like quick triggers.
I will say this,
short controlled bursts.
Whatever iHeart is paying for trail mix is like,
it's
a good amount of money.
There's a lot in the budget right now going to Cheez-Its and to the trail mix.
Is it not a good amount of money?
I mean, if for those who don't know, in the kitchen here, we have kind of like an unlimited, and it's always
as many Cheez-Its as you want.
It's always full.
That's what I'm saying. It's incredible.
All right, that's all I had.
That's really good. Kobe Price, California Post, will join us coming up in about 7 minutes about trail mix.
If Kobe has a similar issue with some of these grocery stores.
Hey, Kobe, I know it's day one of NBA free agency. I need to ask you something. What I found interesting from Annie Heilbrunn, and let's hit on this for a couple of minutes before we get to Kobe Price.
ESPN is in heaven right now.
With the LeBron and the free agency.
I mean, in heaven.
They are.
I think I just saw a top 84 moments as a Laker, and like one of them was a 20 and 14 game.
Top 84 games from the 2026 season that had 82 games. Annie made an interesting point that Craig Stammen is, and I'm paraphrasing now, like, they don't really know how they're going to go from one game to the next with their starting pitching issues. Like, let alone the next 3 months. There's no relief. There's no guarantee Pavetta or Musgrove. Like, there's no quick fix here. We're thankful when they have starters go 4 to third innings, allowing 2 runs, but they're only giving you 13 outs in that hypothetical. Like,
you're right.
It is really concerning, the state of their rotation right now.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, this is it. I mean, if you don't have, let's just all be honest with each other for a quick second. If you got, their next 6 games, you have the Cubs and then 4 in LA against the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. And if your rotation looks anything like their rotation has looked, which there's no reason to think that it's going to change all of a sudden over this next handful of games, you can be looking at a 2-4 stretch over this next 6. You can be,
which is a 2-5 road trip.
You could start looking at, for the first time, you're actually back at the 500 mark. Look, I know it might not be that big of a deal because a lot of these teams are close to each other to begin with. But John, I've not seen them this far in the standings. I haven't. I know people say, it's not a big deal.
Far down, you're saying?
Yeah, they're Miami and St. Louis. Miami and St. Louis aren't fun. I know St. Louis has pretty much been there. Miami just jumped them. They're a game in front of Pittsburgh, a game and a half in front of Washington and Arizona. I mean, they can go on a 2-4 stretch here, and they could be sitting 9th or 10th in the NL.
Mm-hmm. It's very concerning. And it's, by the way, it's not just starting pitching, by the way. It's not. Last night against Shota Imanaga, who's allowed the most home runs in baseball last 3 years.
They called it before the game. Your buddy that was on the broadcast.
Score 1 run. Now they scored 2. But you know what I mean? Like, even when you made the point that they had 9 hits off Imanaga, but none of them were that big
No.
hit. I mean, they can't slug. They don't hit for power.
And they're, I go back to this and listen, I'm probably annoying listening to us just bitch and complain, but
it's just the truth.
But there's an element to them as well. If you're going to struggle that much with your bats, if your starters are going to be that much, so you can't depend on your starters, then at the very minimum, you got to play clean baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't associate the Padres with clean baseball. You don't associate air free, move runners over, score opportunistic, score when you can, small ball when you need it. That's a lot of things to overcome to win a game. I mean, they should have won yesterday's game.
Absolutely.
And they find a way to lose it 3-2. So, and you use Jason Adman, Mason Miller, use some of your key, obviously, bullpen guys, and got the Cubbies again tonight.
Cross your fingers for JP Sears. Maybe he goes 9 innings tonight in the second start for the
That's
Padres.
all they need,
this
just
year.
9.
Just 9. Kobe Price, the California Post on the other side. LeBron leaving LA. His reaction coming up next on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, hey guys, it is Schaefer again for my friends at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Get there this July, World Cup watch party. So Tony Gwynn's Sports Pub going on all tournament long. You can catch every match on the big screen at Tony Gwynn's during their World Cup watch parties, where you can enjoy game day specials, great food, cold drinks, an electric atmosphere for every match. Grab your crew, experience all the action with Jamul. You'll love their hotel and spa, where you can experience elevated luxury, their refined hotel stay, rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, all the excitement of Jamul Casino Resort seamlessly brought together in one unforgettable destination. And now you can take your stay to the next level with exclusive hotel packages crafted for the ultimate escape. While you're there, check out all the dining options, including Jamul 23, with their lobster buffet every day. Enjoy all-you-can-eat lobster every day, plus dozens of other delicious stations at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
This report is sponsored by rockauto.com. The Padres are in Chicago getting set for game 2 of their series against the Cubs at Wrigley Field. It's going to be JP Sears going for the Friars and Matthew Boyd on the hill for the Cubs. First pitch is at 5:05. NBA news: LeBron James informed the Lakers today that he plans to play elsewhere next season, and the Clippers are nearing an agreement to trade Kawhi Leonard back to the Raptors for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 2 unprotected first rounders, 1 pick swap, and 2 second-round picks, according to ESPN. We got 2 finals from earlier today in the World Cup. Norway defeated the Ivory Coast 2-1, and France defeated Sweden 3-0. Grinding and squealing are signs it's time for new brakes. Skip the hassle of searching for the right parts and shop rockauto.com. Find trusted name brand parts at lower prices and have them shipped directly to your door. All the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto.
Huge day. NBA free agency underway.
What happened?
France won, but
France
a huge
did win.
day in NBA free agency as well.
Sir.
LeBron on his way out of LA after 8 years. Kobe Price, the California Post, back with us on 760 here in San Diego.
What's up,
Kobe? Thank you for joining us again. Let's start with it. I mean, from your seat, how surprising is this decision, if at all, that LeBron is leaving the Lakers?
What's up, fellas? I mean, when the initial news hits, it's surprising just because, LeBron did spend the previous 8 seasons of his, about to be 24-year NBA career, the longest single tenure he's had with the franchise. So from that standpoint, surprising. You kind of reflect on the accomplishments, the accolades he racked up while in Los Angeles, while with the Lakers specifically. But the seeds of this have been planted for a while, or it's been present for a while. I mean, you can go back, you can see obviously the Luka Dončić trade, and it's less about Luka and LeBron and their dynamic, but just more so about the dynamic that created between the Lakers and LeBron, and the messaging from LeBron's camp versus Paul publicly speaking on it has just been LeBron's happiness. And you could see moments, especially throughout the season, where that happiness may not have been as present as it has been in previous seasons, where LeBron's going from the center of the franchise, center of the universe of the franchise to he, as we see, he's not just no longer the number 1 priority, but at certain points in the season, during the offseason, it didn't even seem like he was even the number 2 priority, with obviously the Lakers committing to building around Luka Dončić, but also making sure they brought Austin Reeves back as well. So it became clear that it was just time for the sides to go their separate ways, whether it's the Lakers and LeBron to go their separate ways.
Kobe, I do think it's the right move. I think, John has said this here. You've been saying this for the last month or so. It's like, well, why would they? What's the point of bringing him back if they're going to rebuild and obviously do this thing around Luka Dončić? Well, you do need to make sure that LeBron's probably not there. Let me just kind of get your thoughts on what's next for LeBron, and then we could hit on some Lakers stuff as well. Plus, I want to ask you about Kawhi Leonard. But what do you think LeBron's looking for? He is going to walk into his 24th season in the NBA. Is this about competing for a championship? Is this about best fit? Is this about a retirement tour? What do you think is going to be his priorities?
Definitely more so the first 2 in terms of the best fit and competing for a championship. Retirement tour, I mean, that's still to be determined. LeBron has made it clear that he's going to return for a 24th NBA season, but it's uncertain and unclear, not just for everybody else, but even for LeBron himself, whether his 24th NBA season will be his final one. So I don't know if, it's uncertain about whether he's thinking that far ahead in terms of the next destination will be a retirement tour. However, it's definitely about competing for titles. I mean, look, again, messaging, right? Last summer, Rich Paul issued a statement when LeBron picked up his player option for this past season and they didn't extend the contract, and he put out a statement saying that, again, this is the messaging kind of tying the dots to everything, that, LeBron's looking to compete for a title. And even with this newest development with him leaving the Lakers. So that remains true moving forward. But it's also probably about a destination where he'll be prioritized, or he fits into that franchise's vision for next season and maybe even beyond as well.
It's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out in the days ahead. Kobe Price, the California Post, is with us. Let's get back to the Lakers and their needs. When it comes to adding a center or a top-tier center, it's a two-part question. How challenging is it to find that player? And who is the right fit at center for the Lakers?
I mean, it's not challenging to look around and finding them now. The most challenging part is definitely to bring them onto the roster. I mean, that's number one priority right there. You know, finding a top center to pair alongside Luka and Austin. You know, the Walker Kessler to me is probably the best fit for that duo, just in terms of the rim protection, the motor, the finishing at the rim, the efficiency. Obviously, I know Jalen Duren's also a player that the Lakers are going to be meeting with if they haven't already met with today or having a conversation with today. But, you know, those are like the top flight centers, but both are restricted free agents, which come with their own complications with, you know, the incumbent teams being able to match any offer sheets that are put out there. And it seems like the Pistons have already signaled to Duren, to other teams, they're willing to match any offer sheet, and they're not going to let go of Duren, and they're not going to engage in a signing trade. So there's obviously complications with Duren specifically, but even Walker Kessler. But that's, you know, there's still Mitchell Robinson out and available, the Knicks center who just won a title in New York. And obviously they're going to be bringing back DeAndre Ayton, Jackson Hayes. You know, that he's a backup center option who's played for the Lakers for the previous 3 seasons. So there's still centers out there, but we've also seen other centers being taken off the board. Nick Claxton being traded to Chicago.
Robert Williams III.
Robert Williams III re-signing with the Blazers. He would have been a very ideal target for the Lakers despite his injury concerns. So we're starting to see the center market kind of dry up. Isaiah Hartenstein agreeing to the new deal with the Thunder. So we're starting to see the center market starting to dwindle a little bit. So the Lakers definitely have to be aggressive, and they definitely will be aggressive. Now, whether that aggression and will turn into an actual signing or adding one of these top flight players remains to be seen.
Kobe Price covers the Lakers for the California Post, joining us here on the Schaefer and Sliwa Show. Kobe, tell me, ideal world here as they try to build this thing around Luka Dončić now, and Austin Reeves, of course, as well. But Luka obviously being the priority. What do you think this thing looks like over the next year, and how much do you think this front office can make some strides here to get the team at a level where they do feel like they got a shot again out of the West? Or is it's just that not that realistic at the moment based on the competition in the Western Conference?
I mean, they're going to have to. This is what's been taken to Luka for a year and a half now, in terms of this is the summer to build around him. And obviously, like, the options are dwindling a little bit, but they did re-sign Austin Reeves, which is, again, priority number one. That was a big component to the summer. Get Austin Reeves back on the Lakers. He's a good fit alongside Luka. That's your star guard tandem. They play well off one another. They get along off the court as well. That was priority number one. But, that they have to. This is their summer to take advantage of the optionality, as Rob Pelinka likes to say, because beyond this summer, it's just going to be more challenging than it usually is. So this is the summer for the Lakers to, even if they need to, in my view, they need to be able to acquire, trade for, sign at least 1 to 2 more players who fit alongside the Luka also pairing for the medium to long-term future. Just because, we saw it in Dallas. It took multiple transaction cycles to put a championship contending roster together. Well, the Lakers have had a few transaction cycles to do so around Luka. And now's the time. Because after this, once Austin Reeves' new deal kicks in, Luka's money, his extension's kicking in as well, it's just going to become more challenging.
Kobe, your thoughts on the Clippers, obviously moving Kawhi Leonard, the impact on LA, but also where Toronto stands now that they've landed Kawhi again?
Yeah, I mean, Toronto, that sneaky, a very sneaky deal. Obviously, LeBron's the headliner of the day, but Toronto getting Kawhi Leonard back in the fold, very fascinating. I mean, look, Kawhi's coming off scoring a career high this past season, All NBA. I think All NBA second team. So obviously that's big for Toronto to get an All NBA caliber player alongside an All Star caliber player in Scotty Barnes. So Toronto's, we saw the Knicks win the title. The East is becoming more competitive, and Toronto made a big swing to bring Kawhi back in the fold. And they're looking to compete. Like, that's the team. You have Quickly, you have Barrett, you have Scotty Barnes, you have Kawhi, you have Pirtle. Like, that's a legit roster. Obviously you have to fill out the depth, but they're going to be a good team. They're going to be a good team, and Kawhi's going to be a big reason why.
Kobe, we appreciate it, brother. Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate the insight as always. I know we'll be connecting obviously soon, but thank you very much for coming on the show.
Appreciate you guys having me.
All right, Kobe Price, California Post. Busy day in the NBA. Not over, by the way.
No, and just a heads up, I don't know if you know this, but ESPN is still
talking about LeBron.
Yes, and I just want to let you know, I think they're all over the story.
Oh, yeah, they have you covered.
I think they are all over the story.
And they'll
awesome.
be discussing it until he signs.
Every time I've looked up, there's a new clip. There's this now, their clip with, I think it might have been the Mind the Game podcast with him and Steph Curry. Okay, I'm curious. Is there a team you'd love to see him? Like, by the way, I think this is kind of fun. I think if you're a Laker fan, I think you're ready to see Luka Dončić cook. Brother, Luka's an unbelievable player. Like, I'm really looking forward.
He already led the NBA in scoring.
Led the NBA scoring, but it's different. Like, now this will be the first time they build a team around him. He's not perfect. He's got defensive liabilities, all this. Austin Reeves, I think I could drive past him. But we know that of their backcourt. But you start putting all these pieces together. Luka's going to own Crypto.com arena. It's going to be really, really fun. But I also think it's going to be cool to see where LeBron ends up.
We're going to discuss possible landing spots on the other side. Plus, we'll get to the wrap coming up at 5 p.m. Getting you ready for Padres baseball as well. On Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
I faked you out.
No reads?
No, man. Listen, if I'm reading something, then there's a read. If I'm not reading anything, there's no read.
That. The wrap coming up at 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
We'll get to the wrap coming up at 5 p.m.
Yep.
We have some ticket giveaways for you as well. We'll share with you in the 5 o'clock hour. We haven't discussed, to your point, by the way, Padres Cubs will get underway in the next 20 or 30 minutes.
That was so frustrating yesterday.
Oh, it was so frustrating.
I didn't know what to say.
By the way, how about...
Did you have a, like, I didn't have a reaction. Like,
dude, the Jace Bowen play in the ninth. First of all, he makes this incredible play where
gets a double play,
throws out whomever home, Dansby Swanson.
So now you're like comfortable. Yeah, you're like, now everybody's like, all right, we're good. Out of this.
The ball Suzuki hits, I think off the bat, I think it's like, I don't even know what that avenue is over left field. Is that Waveland? What I thought it was like out of the city of Chicago.
And the way he reacted was like it was out of the city.
I'm like, okay. But then I see Bowen, he's camping underneath. Like he thinks he has a play. He goes up for legitimately 2 seconds out. I thought he caught it. And then all of a sudden the ball's trickling away from the ivy. Just an excruciating way to lose a game.
It's coming home from the gym. So I'm listening to the game. And, you know, obviously if you're blind, I was completely blind. I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
You're driving blind?
And it was just a wave of emotions. I didn't even have an emotion. Like, I was just more, I think, a little bit in shock because they got the double play. So you thought with the double play, they're getting to the 10th. We'll see what happens from there. Of course not. Like, the Padres have a they have such an incredible gift of losing in many different ways.
Incredible gift.
It's a very, very impressive, like, I respect it.
Yeah, we both saw the same tweet from Too Much Mortons, who's a really good, does good content on social media around the Padres. And he listed, and he's spot on, he listed like 8 or 10 things yesterday that kind of show their level of, like, I don't know what the right word would be, but it's just like the undisciplined nature.
Incompetence.
Like bad ABS challenges, pickoffs, caught stealings, trying to advance 90 feet for no reason, right? Like all these things that add up to playing bad baseball.
You know what bothers me so much about that? Like, these have to be the guarantees for the Padres. If the Padres are going to make the playoffs, it's not because they got 4 guys who are hitting 35 home runs and 3 guys that can start in the All-Star game as aces. They're going to make it because they're smart. They don't make mistakes. The little things is what's going to get them over the top. They don't do these little things. Like, on top of your squad already is not talented enough. Guys are disappointing. One of the worst averages in all of baseball. Starting pitchers falling apart. On top of that, you play sloppy baseball. Like, where are you going to go if that's the case? And against a team that's in front of you in the wild card standings.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, there's a lot of concerning trends with them. Yet, if I were to sing the glass half full version of the song, I would tell you everything is still in front of them. Like you've said a lot. Like, the goal is to make the playoffs, right? The goal was never to be the top team in the National League in terms of regular season record. That was not realistic heading into the year. They were not going to win 100 games. So, I mean, their goals are still in front of them. What are they out of a playoff spot? You just had it in front of you. A game? Are they a game out of a playoff spot right now? One game.
Maybe one. But
1.5.
But you know what it is? And I'll give you the exact number in a second. But you know what it is? It's like a slow bleed. That's the problem.
A little bit. Yeah. I feel that.
So St. Louis has 2 games in the loss column, 1 game overall.
All right. So
by the way, what do you think the Cardinals have done over their last 10 games?
Nothing, because they were well over 500. I'll say they're 3-7 or
3-7 in their last 10.
Yeah. So that's the thing with
Picked
3 wild cards.
Ground.
With 3 wild cards, though, you're gonna hang in unless the wheels fall off. That was Annie's point. She's like, I think he's buying until like they're proven to be incapable of winning.
I get that, but John, I'm not even looking at that. Like, I get they'll hang around, and part of it's going to do is because there's 6 spots. Yep. Part of it's going to do with there's a lot of average teams, mid teams in the NL. But we go back to something we were just talking about. You got to play clean baseball. I mean, against the Dodgers, did they play clean baseball? That 9-run inning started with
bad error.
Right? Like, they just, the small little things is all I'm asking for. If you lose because another team just plays better than you, then it is what it is. But if you shoot yourself in the foot against any decent team in Major League Baseball, you're asking for trouble, and that's kind of what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree. I do completely agree with that. And this series, by the way, against the Cubs is not the series you want to fall flat on your face with LA awaiting for 4 games at Dodger Stadium. Like, this isn't the series you want to get swept in.
Let me read something here. You tell me what you think of this. A wild card is not good enough, fellas. This is somebody here on YouTube.
It's 1,000% good enough. It's over 1,000% good enough. It's 1,000,000% good enough. It's wonderful.
I'm with you on that.
What do you get? By the way, you win a division title and then what? You won the World Series?
But it's also not realistic. So, the position that the Padres are in is a wild card position, period. And before the season started,
it was a wild
that's
card.
what we'd have said.
Yeah.
Last season when you started, that's what you said. It's the reality. It's the truth.
But you're lowering expectations. No, we're not. They're in the division with the top spending team in the history of the sport. That's won consecutive World Series. That always wins the division. It just kind of sucks, but it's true. Like, you play the hand you're dealt. You can't play other hands.
Mm-hmm.
The hand they're dealt is they're capable of making the postseason each and every year. But winning the division,
that's the path. The path is going to be you get into a wild card. The problem is it's not just the path, but there's a little bit of a Padres have this. Not only do they want to just squeeze into the playoffs, but then they want to throw a Hail Mary 6 times in a row and see if they can get a touchdown off of it.
And here's the thing: the World Series, the wild card not being good enough is such an odd take because there are so many examples of baseball champions, World Series winners that were wild card teams. So I don't care where you finish if you make a run.
Well, if you want to say hypothetically, if you want to put this, but you got to raise the bar. To be honest with you, I don't think it matters how you get into the playoffs. I want to see this. I just want to see cleaner baseball. I just don't want to watch the San Diego Padres shoot themselves in the foot. Like, again, if they go down because another team is just better, then let it be. If there's if one of the best pitchers in baseball is just dealing and that's how the Padres lost, that's fine. What I don't want to see is, like you said, the ABS challenges, we look like idiots.
Yep.
It could be decisions from Craig Stammen that you're questioning. It could be errors. It could be mistakes on it's just like those little things. You're not good enough to make those mistakes. And by the way, the teams that are going to be competing for a World Series also don't make those mistakes.
Yeah, like, why today would anyone even be talking about the division? Like, wild card's not good enough. Oh, you better believe it is. They're 43 and 40, and the wheels are falling off.
Not only is it good enough, it would be great. Only path for relevance.
I'll take it right now. If I can sign the dotted line that guarantees the Padres the 6th seed, I'll sign it right now. I will sign that dotted line right now based on everything that we're watching. The wrap is on the other side. We'll tell you about our giveaways for the day, including tickets to see 5 Seconds of Summer and also tickets to see Motley Crue. We'll give those tickets away in the 5 o'clock hour. Stay with us on Schaefer.
Enjoy the 5 o'clock hour. I got to get out of here.
One more hour. Schaefer and Sliwa, stay with us.
Things I got to get done.
All right, DraftKings live in all 50 states. Yes, that means you, California, win or go home. That's it. That's the knockout round, and DraftKings has you covered for every single match.
The DraftKings app is now live in California, so whether you're catching the early kickoff before work or the late match at the bar, you're in on every minute, every match, every moment, all in one app. Right here in California, the world's biggest stage is in the palm of your hands. New DraftKings customers, sign up with the code SD760. Spend $5 to get $200 in total rewards over 21 days. That's code SD760.
In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click to claim, issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends July 19th. Terms dkng.co/predictions promo.
This report is sponsored by rockauto.com. The Padres and Cubs are getting set for game 2 of their series at Wrigley Field. It's going to be JP Sears going for the Padres and Matthew Boyd going for the Cubbies. First pitch is going to be here in about 5 minutes at 5:05. In NBA news, LeBron James informed the Lakers today that he plans to play elsewhere next season. The Clippers are nearing a trade to send Kawhi Leonard back to Toronto for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 2 unprotected first rounders, a 1-pick swap, and 2 second-round picks, according to ESPN. And also, according to ESPN, the Wizards have made it clear that they're not entertaining any trade offers for Anthony Davis. World Cup, we got a couple finals from earlier today. Norway defeated the Ivory Coast 2-1, and France took down Sweden 3-0. Grinding and squealing are signs it's time for new brakes. Skip the hassle of searching for the right parts and shop rockauto.com. Find trusted brand name parts at lower prices and have them shipped directly to your door. All the parts your car will ever need at Rock Auto.
All right, final hour here on Schaefer and Sliwa on this Tuesday afternoon.
Jeez, you were so aggressive in that.
Final. What did I say?
I don't know. Something about you don't freaking care. Like it was really
there
aggressive.
Was a lot of discussion. It's a very polarizing topic when it comes to Dodger fans at Petco Park. There's a very polarizing topic we have learned over the years. This hour, Alan, we're giving away tickets to see 5 Seconds of Summer, and we're also giving away tickets to see Motley Crue. If you want to be eligible to win those tickets, tell us where you think LeBron lands. All you got to do. Tell us where you think LeBron lands. All you got to do. And the way to do that is by opening the iHeartRadio app, searching for San Diego Sports 760, and clicking on the red talkback mic. So use the talkback mic, and you're automatically eligible to win either a pair of tickets to see 5 Seconds of Summer or a pair of tickets to see Motley Crue. So do that right now. Where do you think LeBron lands this summer? And we'll give those tickets away this hour. Do you want to get into that during the wrap? Is that a wrap question, by the way? Where will LeBron land? Okay, so we'll do that during the wrap. Let's get to the wrap.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Should LeBron get a statue outside of crypto?
Oh, statue talk.
Statue talk.
No, he should not get a statue outside of crypto.com arena. Now, I think he's going to get one.
Okay.
But if it was up to me, I'm not giving LeBron a statue. I mean, if you look at the names that are out there, these are the most iconic of Lakers in history. And let's put it this way. If LeBron's going to get one out there, why don't you make some room for James Worthy then? There's some other players that I would consider to go out there that would be before LeBron James. I don't think he deserves a statue outside of crypto. I don't think 8 years with the Lakers, 1 championship is the resume to do so. I think you should really, really save that. That's such a iconic, legendary act for a player. I don't see LeBron. I don't think he deserves one out there, but do I think he'll get one? I think there's probably a good chance that he does get one.
What's interesting to me,
off on that.
No, maybe not. I could definitely see him getting one. What is interesting to me is like, how will his legacy age among Laker fans? It was always a kind of lukewarm, right? It was it was never the affinity of a Magic Johnson or Kobe Bryant, obviously. So because of that,
we're not Kobe. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. And you've heard that for 10
LeBron
years, right?
He's on the team. You know,
exactly.
It's not like they're competing against each other.
So, I mean, his number, will it be retired?
Oh, yeah,
number,
100%.
So his number will be retired.
Number will be retired 100%. You might even get AD's number retired there again because they won a championship together. So
I think his statue is probably going too far. And again, I think as time passes, I do wonder how Laker fans look back on LeBron's time in Los Angeles.
Want to know what I think?
What do you think?
I think it will get there'll be more appreciation towards his time.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That's what I think will happen over time.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But there's also a lot of celebrating today that he's no longer part of the Lakers.
I know, I've seen it. Next question.
Where's the best landing spot for LeBron?
There we go.
Well, I'll tell you this, if you tune into ESPN, they'll have that broken down right now. I mean, they are breaking it down.
All 29 teams.
All 29. And top 29 reasons for each team. You know what I think? Brent, you and I said this. We're in the kitchen where I was getting 7 pounds of trail mix in my cup. And we both said, we both had a similar, the Miami thing is interesting to me. Because I think it's one of the best front offices in the NBA. Giannis and Bam Adebayo there. Andrew Wiggins just re-signed as well. You know they'll do other things and they'll be creative enough. I don't know why, but I'm with you. I kind of stand on the Miami thing would be interesting.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think we touched briefly on Miami at some point in the last 2 or 3 shows. I kind of like the new big 3 with Bam, Giannis, LeBron on his way out. The Golden State thing, and I do think it's a ratings draw, and I do think it's entertaining.
I'll watch.
I will too.
I'll watch.
But I also think, I don't know what the right word is. I think it's a little hokey or kitschy. Mm-hmm. It's like, it sounds good on a piece of paper, and then you watch it play out, and someone's got a torn groin for 39 games, and you never see these players together. So I don't love the Golden State fit in terms of winning. I do like the Miami fit. I think you referenced at some point off air San Antonio or Houston. That's intriguing to me. I think those teams are set up to win. Obviously, San Antonio is. I'm with you. I think Miami is my preferred destination.
I will say this: Cleveland does make sense too. It's not like Cleveland. It's not like Cleveland. You can't make sense, and they got swept in the playoffs. And if they're able to keep their talent, now the question is, will they be able to keep their talent? I'm sure LeBron's still trying to get a paycheck.
I'm so over him going back to Cleveland again.
Yeah. Are you? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we've seen that movie twice now.
I've seen that. Yeah.
How many times has he played for the Cavs? 7?
A lot of times. A lot of times.
Next question.
Kawhi's tenure with the Clippers was what?
Very disappointing if you're a Clipper fan. Think about this. Kawhi chose the Clippers over the Los Angeles Lakers. And, as we sit here today, what do they have to show for it? They got nothing to show for it. Absolutely nothing to show for it. And they're still giving up, like we said, giving up a week ago, some of those picks. That is highly disappointing. And if you look at the Clippers era, if I said, give me the best Clippers era, it's going to be Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan, that team that they had with Jamal Crawford. I don't think it's going to be the Kawhi Leonard era that never got to an NBA final.
Here was the issue for me. This is where it took the real U-turn. They were incredibly good in 2019-20, the COVID year. Remember? And there was the stoppage. I'm just looking it up right now. They were 49-23. It's a very good team.
When it stopped, right? Or no, you're talking about the season?
Overall. And then they led that series in Orlando 3-1.
Lakers, Bucks, and the Clippers had the 3 best records in the NBA. They led 3-1 to the Denver Nuggets. This is with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, and they blew a 3-1 lead. And they were up double digits in each one of those games to close it out.
That's where it took a U-turn. Now, that was at the very beginning of the tenure.
Right.
Yeah, it won't be looked favorably on. I don't know. I don't put it on Kawhi, me personally, but I'm also biased when it comes to Kawhi Leonard. I feel like they were relevant in his time with the Clippers, but they didn't accomplish what
why don't
they
you
set out to.
Talk to me here. Talk to me.
Because I think Kawhi, when healthy, remained, as recently as this past year, one of the top 10 players in the league. Second team All-NBA this year, his highest scoring output. I thought after James Harden left, they were one of the best teams in the NBA this year. That stretch, they're probably 30-15 over 45 games.
Did you ever feel like they were a real threat?
No, but was that on Kawhi?
I think you look at Kawhi's full tenure with the Clippers. I don't think if you're a Clipper fan, you walked away saying, hey, this was a great era of basketball.
I agree, but is it because of Kawhi?
It's your star. That's your guy.
Yeah, he missed a lot of time, obviously.
It's a lot of time, load management, whatever you want to look at. And I feel for Kawhi from that front because I think he was trying to pace himself to be ready for the postseason. Yep. Never happened.
Next question.
What's the biggest frustration from last night's loss to the Cubs?
Dumb mental errors for me. That's what it was. And I can't give you one because there was 17 of them. Just poor judgment, poor decisions. That to me, I could live with the ninth inning. I could live with the decision in Jason Adam. I could live with the decision. I don't think the game was lost in the ninth. I thought the game was lost in other moments of the game.
Yeah, they lost it a number of times last night. By the way, Fernando Tatis Jr. has homered for the Padres as that game is now underway. In Chicago, leading off the game, his 4th home run of the year. That is encouraging. Yeah, I don't know. They lost the game a million times over. It felt like there was a little bit of a malaise or a hangover effect from the Dodgers series, and we'll see if that ends, hopefully, here tonight. We spent so much time on this offense, and now we're spending so much time on the starting pitching. I just want to see them put together a couple of games. Like they played well for a week, or excuse me, a series against Atlanta, and then they took the step back against the Dodgers last night against the Cubs.
Even when they took the first game against the Dodgers, you're like, my God, 4-0 on this homestand. So
it was
far.
great.
Split these last 2 against the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's just I want to see them, I don't know, just play better complementary baseball, as in get good starting pitching, put the offense together for a week and see where it all lands, so to speak. So we'll see if that's possible or not. Despite all this, the 3 straight losses, I mean, 43-40, had 4 wins before it. It's just 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards, or whatever it's been over the last handful of weeks.
Do you agree with me when I say that a lot of times, like, I can take L's. It's okay. L's are part of the mix, and the team's not talented enough to, obviously be a 95-win team, 100-win team. But do you agree with me if it's just more the brand of baseball that they're playing? Yeah. If we've talked so much about the NBA today because of many of the reasons. It's like teams don't win with 20 turnovers.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. In the NFL, if you lose the turnover battle 3-1, you're probably losing that playoff game. And I think with the Padres, it's not just errors. It's just like small things. It's like
it's the little things.
You're first and goal at the 3-yard line and you settled for a field goal. That's going to cost you.
Yeah. That's a good description, actually, of them.
It's little things like that end up adding up. Might not seem like a big deal because it's the first quarter, but then you lost the game by a field goal.
Yeah, it's like you don't challenge against the Dodgers in a 1-1 game, and you could argue it led to 3 runs. It was the last 3 runs they scored in a 4-2 loss. So there's yesterday the countless examples in that loss.
But any team that makes the type of mistakes they make, it's a recipe for a disaster.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're not talented enough to make those mistakes.
All right, so Padres and Cubs are underway. Again, if you want to qualify to win those tickets to see either 5 Seconds of Summer or Motley Crue this summer in San Diego, tell us where you think LeBron James lands this summer and do it on the Talkback mic. Open the iHeartRadio app, search for San Diego Sports 760, and click that red Talkback microphone. All right, the latest from NBA free agency, keeping you updated on game 2 of the series between the Padres and the Cubs as well. Here until 6 p.m. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
You can hear Team USA's next game versus Bosnia right here on San Diego Sports 760. Our coverage begins tomorrow at 4:30. 2026 World Cup coverage lives on San Diego Sports 760.
That feels like a must-win match for Team USA since it's the knockout round. By the way, do you know what we get tonight, Alan?
I don't want to talk about anything right now. This team's so freaking frustrating.
Team Mexico.
Oh, yeah,
Don't be frustrated in Mexico.
That's right. No, not frustrated in Mexico.
Team Mexico against Ecuador at the Azteca. 6 p.m. tonight.
Amazing. Badass.
All right, so the Padres kind of padred. Nice shot. Here's what happened. So Fernando Tatis Jr. hits a leadoff solo home run. Terrific. His 4th of the year. And then he commits a throwing error in the bottom of the inning that leads to an unearned run for the Chicago Cubs. And these are the things that we've been talking about ad nauseum, including last night, that have now continued over into the next day.
It's like they heard us.
They must have been listening.
Talking about how frustrating it is watching this team.
Crazy.
And within 7 seconds of that error, a base hit to bring that run in.
And we said it was about to happen. Like, watch this cost them.
Good Lord,
and
this team.
The next pitch cost them. And you've made this point consistently today. They're not good enough. Most teams, by the way, aren't. The Padres, I know, because we have 2 eyes, are not good enough to overcome all these miscues. And it's been incredibly frustrating. It really is hard to watch. It's one thing to get beat, to your point. It's another thing to do it yourself.
Fine, get beat. Get beat because the other team is better. That's fine. But don't lose this way. Ken says it perfectly here on YouTube. Tatis has put one on the board for both teams. He has. Freaking couldn't enjoy his home run for more than 4 minutes.
It's hard because I get it. It's a sport. Like, there are miscues in a professional sport. Like, it's not the easiest thing in the world. And I think Tatis has actually played a really good defensive second base, something he hadn't been asked to do in his career until 2026. But it's just I can't excuse it. Like, I always excuse. I'm like, well, he's not a primary second baseman and he's trying to be. No, it's just a bad, poor play that was costly.
Yeah, but you're not. This is different if it's one player. The problem is when we're having these conversations, this is not like an isolated Tatis thing. Tatis just happened to be the one in the last 6 minutes that committed the error that scored a run.
Right.
This is something that's been going on, obviously, now for at least you could say this 45-day stretch where it's just not clean baseball. And again, you put a pitcher in a position.
Yep.
That already not that many people have that much confidence in. I know he came in and had a really good outing in his first game. What was that, against Atlanta?
Yep.
But nobody's expecting JP Sears to shove for 7 innings. Well, then he's got to throw 10 or 15 extra pitches. Then, some of these Cubs batters get a little bit better of a look at him. Who knows? Again, it's just like there's a trickle down effect when you make mistakes. Again, I'm not asking the Padres to be flawless. I'm just asking them not to be idiotic at times. And there's too many times where that happens.
To your point, though, like JP Sears, and he was good in his first start. And this is not JP Sears. He's thrown 20 pitches in the first inning. The Padres cannot get a starter to go 5 innings. Mm-hmm. And when you ask a starter to throw 20 plus pitches in the first inning, he's not going to be long for the game. And they're going to be in the exact same situation where they're in their bullpen, Alan. No matter how JP Sears pitches tonight, they'll be in their bullpen in the 4th or 5th inning. And that's hard to overcome game in and game out. Taxing the bullpen. It's not a good situation right now, is what it is. It's just not. And I don't know if they'll be able to overcome it or not. We just kind of cross our fingers and watch it play out in real time.
Yeah. The more that I kind of, the more I kind of sit back and I look at the standings are kind of actually becoming, in a weird way, it's becoming a little bit more irrelevant to me.
The standings are?
Yeah.
More concerned about the way the Padres are playing.
Yeah, because do the standings matter if your team, if they play a certain brand of baseball, the standings will either take care of themselves positively.
You're right.
Or the standings will take care of themselves negatively.
Completely agree.
And I feel like, who this team is so far and what they've done over this, pretty good stretch of games were obviously, it's not like, remember earlier in the season, we're like, hey, we're 20 games in, 30 games in, whatever the case is. We got a pretty good idea who the Padres are. Why even look at the standings, the wild card standings? I find myself doing it when they go on a 3-game winning streak.
Right.
And I find myself avoiding it when they're losing games. But the way they play is going to be kind of that's going to handle itself. So I don't know how much. I think the standings could be deceiving. And I feel like today, if you look at them, they're deceiving to the perception of who the Padres have been.
Let me ask you this. What was their best? Their high water mark was what? 11 games over 500, correct?
Yeah.
They were 11 games over 500. But at one point, they were also 19-9. I think that was their best winning percentage, but later they were.
Because I think we got through the first month where we kept doing the 19-9.
But listen to this. Since 19-9, 24-31 coming into today, 400 baseball. For 55 games, that's 2 months. That's 8.5 weeks.
A lot.
Where they're 24-31. So are they the 19-9 team? I'd like to see it. It's been a long time since they were 19-9.
Well, they're definitely not.
Right.
They're definitely not the 19-9 team.
Are they the 24-31 team, or are they the middle ground?
They're a 500 team. That's what they are.
Yeah.
And every single game that goes by, they're getting closer to a 500 record.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they are. At least at this point, they are an average baseball team, and they've been playing average baseball at best. And they're getting closer and closer to getting back to literally an average team. And if you go look at the NL, I just said don't look at the standings. They're kind of now right in the middle of the pack, and that's where that's where they've consistently shown that they are.
Through an inning, Cubs and Padres tied at 1. JP Sears making the start tonight. 24 pitches in that first inning for the Padres. All right, we'll switch gears. Possible landing spots for LeBron James. Full reaction to Kawhi Leonard leaving LA for Toronto, reuniting with the Raptors. Of course, he won the franchise's only championship there in 2019. We're here until 6 p.m. If you want to win tickets to see 5 Seconds of Summer or Motley Crue, tell us where you think LeBron lands. Open up the iHeartRadio app. Click on San Diego Sports 760. Click on the talkback mic. And by doing that, you're eligible to win those tickets. Stay with us, Schaefer and Slee with San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by rockauto.com. The Padres are in Chicago right now, taking on the Cubs in game 2 of their series. Right now, we are in the top of the second. We're tied at 1 apiece. In NBA news, LeBron James informed the Lakers today that he plans to play elsewhere next season. And the Clippers are nearing an agreement to trade Kawhi Leonard back to the Raptors for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 2 unprotected first rounders, 1 pick swap, and 2 second-round picks, according to ESPN. Also, according to ESPN, the Wizards have informed the rest of the league that they're not entertaining offers for Anthony Davis. We have a couple finals from earlier in the World Cup. Norway defeated the Ivory Coast 2-1, and France defeated Sweden 3-0. A failed struck can turn any drive into a rough ride. When it's time for repairs, Rock Auto makes finding the right part easy. Shop name brands at lower prices and have the parts shipped directly to your door. All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
San Diego Sports 760, Schaefer and Sliwa. Programming reminder, tomorrow we're on from 3 to 4:30, and then Team USA will play tomorrow. Pre-match coverage at 4:30. You can hear the match live on San Diego Sports 760.
This is it.
How do you feel about Mexico tonight, Team USA tomorrow night? Both going to win? Will it be dicey?
I think I feel good, but there's going to be some real pressure on both countries.
Oh, yeah.
And
huge.
I think if you've watched any of the World Cup now, Germany is out, right?
Yeah, that's right. That is accurate.
It is. You can have top 5, top 10 countries.
Who else is it? Netherlands.
Was Netherlands the other one?
In Monterrey last night, they lost in PKs.
Oh, that's right.
That was
Netherlands
incredible. Were you watching that?
Right. Yes, I was.
Incredible.
I was. That didn't end till like 9 something.
9 something
yeah,
our
almost
time.
9.
Yeah. It was midnight Eastern. Yeah.
But I think that so when you say, and a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, Mexico's supposed to win. It's at the Azteca.
Yeah.
Pressure on you.
Tons.
You're especially Mexico because it's at the Azteca. U.S. playing Bosnia,
home soil.
Everybody's just assuming that they're gonna. Let me tell you this. I think in both of these games, if the United States tomorrow, it's 0-0 at the half.
Oof.
There's some pressure.
Even more pressure.
I mean that's the. It's like if you're these countries that are underdogs, and it's so common for the underdog to win. You're just trying to put, all right, 20 minutes in, nobody scored. A little bit more pressure on the United States. 40 minutes in, a little bit. I mean, if Germany can lose of all countries, don't tell me the United States can't lose in that round of 32.
Here's a hot take that's not overly hot. And you've seen circulating a little bit online, and it's not exactly rocket science we would get here. But why is the World Cup final being held at the Meadowlands in that Giants-Jets blah stadium? The Azteca, if nothing else, now I get it. Maybe you'd argue for Dallas or SoFi, but the last game played in Mexico is in the round of 16. I think the last game played in Canada is in the round of 16. So every game from the quarterfinals on is in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Is that reasonable considering the venues in these other countries, specifically the one in Mexico City? Like, it's a 3-nation event, yet every match in the final 3 rounds is in America. Does that make sense?
I think, you take business out of the equation and you take the United States out of the equation and you take, like we were just talking about this for those who are just tuning in right now. The NBA announced they're going to play the NBA Cup, the championship game. What's the stadium
Hinkle
called?
Fieldhouse in Indianapolis.
Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, which that's where Butler University basketball plays, and it holds under 10,000 or around 10,000.
Said 9,100.
That is a decision. They're taking it from Vegas and they're putting it there. I think that's cool, and I think that's smart, and I think that's very, very uncommon in sports to say, let's do something that we think is going to be about the environment and the fans. That doesn't happen.
Right. In FIFA, I don't think that happens.
Well, in the NBA, it doesn't either.
Right.
Neither does it happen in the NFL. Neither does it happen in Major League Baseball. I mean, it doesn't happen. It's not a common theme, period. You just mentioned why the World Cup's going to be played. It's in Jersey, the finals.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just ask this question. If you're a soccer fan and you're a purist and you love the game, do you want that game at the Azteca or do you want it in New Jersey?
Easy answer for most.
Easy answer
for most.
And it has nothing to do with the environment that they want. It has nothing to do with what would be the best energy, the best look on TV. Let's just say I didn't know New Jersey was known for its soccer.
Well, look at it this way too, real quick. July 19th is the title. Mm-hmm. I think it's 3:00 Eastern. It could be 99 and humid. Now, the same could happen at the Azteca, but there are other venues.
No, it won't be at the Azteca, right? Because it's just the elevation and in Monterey, yes, but I don't think there.
But I mean, you could have done Jerry's World. By the way, you could. I'm not advocating for SoFi, but I mean, there's other venues you could have used. But you're going to play 3 in the afternoon.
I was surprised SoFi didn't have anything past the round of
quarterfinals. Yeah, but you're going to play 3 p.m. Mm-hmm. It could be thunderstorms. It could be 104 degrees. It could be humid. But it's the New York market, and they'll host it in the new. And it's not, by the way, it's not even in the. I mean, it's across the bridges and the tunnels, but it's the New York market.
You know, it's funny. I don't think anybody cares.
They don't.
Like nobody's watching the game saying to themselves, "Oh my God, this experience is so good." The game's in Jersey, guys. It's in the New York market. This is. I mean, imagine if it was somewhere else. I don't think they care. I think they would care if they're like, "Wait, where's that?"
Right.
Mexico City at the Azteca. I think that's different.
What do you got, bro?
According to Google, FIFA chose the New York/Jersey area to host the final because of the region's unmatched global recognition, massive cultural diversity, and prime East Coast broadcast time zone for a worldwide audience. Additionally, the massive seating capacity of MetLife and the area's robust international transportation infrastructure. So they said those are all the reasons.
I would have done it at the Azteca. They'd have figured it out.
Well, what's interesting, at the
Mexico
Azteca,
City is a really small city.
They don't
have a lot of people there.
They've had 2 World Cup finals.
I think Pele and Maradona. I think both got their World Cup there.
Like you've already had 2 World Cup finals in that venue. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, we know the reason. To your point, it's monetary. It's the U.S. influence. It was never going to be played, obviously, in Mexico City. I do think it's a little unfortunate for me that you're using the 3 nations, but the last 3 rounds are all held. I just love the flavor of the world. I've enjoyed the Vancouver aspect, the Monterey, the Mexico City, and I think they're kind of missing the boat there. We all agree. All right, so LeBron is not going to be a Laker.
Spoiled ass Americans. That's what it is.
That I don't know the circumstances. I really don't, but I'm sure a lot of it has to do with politics,
and we have power.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the politics, the money of it.
It's there's a little spoil. Yeah.
What is honestly a bigger story? The headlines go to LeBron leaving the Lakers. What has a bigger impact in the NBA next year? LeBron's next stop or Kawhi's next stop?
Yeah, I don't think it's close.
You think on floor it's LeBron?
Yeah, I'm close.
I think that.
On floor. Okay.
No. The ripple and the headlines and that, of course, is not close. Not close. But couldn't Toronto be the 2nd or 3rd best team in the Eastern Conference? I guess is my point.
I don't know actually. I don't know how sold I am on the Raptors. I like Scotty Barnes. I like RJ Barrett. Obviously they get rid of Brandon Ingram. Yep. They got some players there. Don't get me wrong, they do. But I guess I don't think we could answer that question until we see what happens. Where does LeBron end up?
Fair.
Because LeBron could end up on a team where it's just a perfect fit for him. And he's playing 25 minutes a night. And his impact could be more impactful than Kawhi. Or LeBron could end up on the Golden State Warriors.
He's like, what is this?
And they win 45 games or 41 games. There's injuries to, a lot of the guys. So I guess I
like that.
I'd like to see where the dust settles before it happens.
What do you got, Bron?
I think it depends too, because if LeBron goes to Miami or back to Cleveland, then he's going to be in the Eastern Conference with Toronto. If he goes to Golden State, then they won't even have to worry about each other. But if he ends up in the Eastern Conference, that could impact how far, the Raptors actually go.
Hear me out real quick. Just as we sit here right now, with the summer now underway in the NBA, who is the 2nd most likely team, Allen, to come out of the East? As we sit here today, if you just said the Knicks are the defending champs and whatever, give them their flowers.
Yeah.
If you want to put them to the side for a moment, I think that's fair.
Who's the 2nd?
Who's the 2nd best team?
I think, I think there's a lot of question marks around them because of how the offseason has gone. But I would always probably lean towards Boston.
Okay.
But now the question is I don't know if Jaylen Brown's coming back. The situation that's going on there. There's a lot of questions. I think that's what's going to make the NBA so interesting as we sit here today, and we'll get most of these questions answered in the next 2 weeks to 30 days. Jaylen Brown staying there? What's going to happen with some of these other players? Where does LeBron end up? I think there's still, it's tough to make that prediction, but I got confidence that the Boston Celtics know what they're doing up until the fact that they didn't get Giannis, and now they're kind of left in this weird position with Jaylen Brown.
Where do you think? So I'm looking at FanDuel right now.
Okay.
Where do the Raptors rank from 1 to 30 with shortest odds to win the title? 30th worst odds, first best odds. 1 to 30, are they 10th, 15th, 5th, 1st? Where would you put them?
The Raptors?
Yeah, the Raptors. After today, this is after the move.
So they're not doing the East, they're doing the whole NBA?
Also, shortest odds to win a title across the NBA, including San Antonio, Oklahoma City. Where would you put them among the 30 teams?
All right, so I got probably already six teams, let's say at least in the West. Let's call it 7 in the West. Let's do another 4 in the East. I don't think they're top 10. I'll go just outside the top 10. I'll go 11th.
15.
FanDuel Sportsbooks, the Raptors own the 5th best odds to win the 2027 NBA Finals at plus 2,200.
Here's the problem with that is they're taking into account that they only got to go through X amount of teams in the Eastern Conference.
Maybe. I think so. Yeah,
that's
definitely
the only way they're doing it because.
Or is it an overreaction?
No, because I think if you're literally putting the entire NBA into the mix, you're saying, where does this team rank in the entire NBA? They just got to get through a couple teams in the East. They're not 5th in the West.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. So, yeah, I agree with you. I guess my point is it does seem to me a little extreme.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden they make this move and they've got the 5th shortest odds to win an NBA title in 2027. I want to know where the Lakers are going to end up on that list. Now that it's Luka's team, we don't know what their moves are going to be. Mm-hmm. We don't know the additions they're going to make, but where are the Lakers going to?
I saw this. This was earlier today. Man, I completely forgot, and I know the man is in the league. I mean, I just the reality of where it is. The Wizards are showing interest in bringing back who?
The Wizards are showing interest in bringing back.
You guys won't even guess the player. It's
John
just
Wall.
like. No, that's a
really good one. Michael Jordan.
Russell Westbrook.
Didn't he retire like 2 years ago?
Still in the league, man.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he was in Sacramento. Do you remember there was
for the Kings?
For the Kings,
or was he just hanging out?
He was there for
like just watching
vacation.
Just watching
was
the
he on vacation? Yeah, he's still in the mix there.
And the Wizards don't want to trade Anthony Davis.
Yeah, that's what came out today.
Yeah, I saw that.
So what are you going to win a title or something?
They're not even going to take talks on it.
Can you imagine somebody actually paying what Anthony Davis can make?
Which you said was what? 300 million or 270 or something?
Like 270, something like that. Can you imagine how idiotic a franchise can be to pay Anthony Davis 270 million? And by the way, there is a franchise that exists because that same idiotic franchise just paid Trae Young, and Anthony Davis is on that idiotic franchise.
I just want direct deposit once in my life to give me whatever that 2-week pay period is when you make $270 million over 4 years.
Now, are you putting something into your 401k, or do you want to
maxing it? I will max. No, I don't think you can do Roth if you make $270 million. They just put in that distinction.
Wow,
that you can only do traditional IRA if you make $270 million.
Not signing up for that.
Not signing up for that. All right, updates from Chicago's Wrigley Field. We've got tickets to give away. Where is LeBron going to land? Tell us where on the Talkback mic. Open the iHeartRadio app, search for 760, click the Talkback mic. Just by doing that, you're eligible to win a pair of tickets to see 5 Seconds of Summer or Motley Crue. We're here until 6 p.m. Stay with us. Schaefer and Sliwa. All right, back with you final time, not ever, Alan, just today on San Diego Sports 760. We have a winner of Motley Crue tickets.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Let's make that announcement with a drum roll. If we have it, we've got a winner of Motley Crue tickets. Let's get that drum roll. There it is. Who do you think the winner is of the Motley Crue tickets? Let's throw a name out there.
James.
Correct. James. Congrats, man. You're going to go see Motley Crue with Tesla and Extreme September 18th, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Make it a summer of love at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Get 4 lawn tickets for $99. Get your friends, grab tickets now at livenation.com. What do we make of the state of the San Diego Padres, the baseball team in town?
They are an average baseball team. That's what they are. They're an average baseball team. And if they work their way to start the season 11 games over 500, you will never see that again this season. They are an average baseball team, and they're getting closer and closer to actually representing an average record. They are a 500 team, brother. That's what they are.
It's their starting pitching issues become more extreme by the day. Today, JP Sears starting his second start, and he's allowed 2 home runs in the second inning. He's allowed 5 runs overall in less than 2 innings, Alan. It's 5-1 Cubs. They don't have any options. He's just got to stay out there.
53 pitches in, and he's had 5 outs.
5 outs, 53 pitches. They're not going to go to their bullpen. They need to get outs. So he's just going to be out there, presumably.
You're just going to take an L today, like you took an L yesterday. Like you took an L for 2 games before that, and or 2 straight games during that stretch with the Dodgers. And you're going to try to see if you can salvage 1 game against the Cubs tomorrow before you go into a 4-game set with the Los Angeles Dodgers in LA. It's an average team. They keep telling us what they are. It's just up to us whether we want to listen to it or not.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, if they're not careful,
we,
are they even going to be an average team? That's the other part of the conversation.
We could sit here and like, yeah, but this and go look at the wild card and they're only that, only this. Their play is not good. There's no identity-wise, who are they? Poor decisions. You know, we just talked about a little bit earlier, Tatis in the first inning after he leads off with a home run, not leads off, but gets a home run in the first inning. Before you know it, he commits an error, runner on second, quick base hit, game tied 1-1. This is who they are. And I think we just have to stop pretending to ourselves that they're not this. I know we saw one team earlier in the year that represented 11 games over 500. They are nowhere near that team. Go look at their run differential. Just watch a 9-inning game of San Diego Padres baseball and tell me how that's a playoff team.
If today was July 30th, not June 30th, is it June 30th, by the way? I think it is. If today was the last day of July, not the last day of June, what are you thinking if you're the general manager? What you're watching, this is where they are. This is the trade deadline.
I'm still trying to, go see if I can get a starting pitcher. I'm still hoping and praying that some of these guys will turn it around. I'm still, hoping that there are the small ball and just making better decisions is still there. I'm still hoping I hit lightning in a bottle. I mean, I'm not giving up the season because it's not like many of these guys are going to be gone next year. No, you're going to have a lot of these same players next year. So I'm not telling you that I'm giving up. What I'm just telling you is, what we're watching right now is exactly who they are. They are at best an average team in the NL.
Just looking, by the way, like to your point with the Dodgers coming up, I'm just looking at the probables, which never look great for the Padres because we don't like the state of their rotation. You have Walker Buehler tomorrow. I mean, are we punting right now in this game? Or are we just saying it's over after 2, 5-1 Cubs?
No, you're not. But the conversation was, what do you do with JP Sears here? He's got to give you 4 innings. Like, you got to kind of just let him eat as many innings as possible. And if that means that it's 5-1 by the time he walks out of the 4th, then are you able to scratch in a couple runs? I'm not saying you're punting the game. I'm just telling you,
I agree.
You said that you got to.
No, I agree with you. I'm asking myself, like, are we punting in this game and looking to tomorrow where it's like Walker Buehler? Who would have thought he has to be your stopper? If you don't win when he's on the mound, when do you win? Because the rest of the rotation has been a true train wreck. So it's like, if you don't win with Walker Buehler on the mound tomorrow morning in Chicago, who do you count on? And to your point, not only are you going to Dodger Stadium, you didn't face Ohtani last series. You will face Ohtani this upcoming series.
Yeah, you go in this series. I thought did they say they changed it? Is Ohtani pitching on Thursday?
He's pitching on Friday, according to the probables that I see. Maybe it's Thursday. They have Sasaki Ohtani at MLB.com.
Okay, they got Sasaki Yamamoto on ESPN. Okay. But I did see something. I think somebody put something out that their Ohtani is going to pitch in this series against the Padres.
And this is the stretch. Remember the 20-game stretch? We're like, hey, we'll take like a 9-11, a 10-10. It started with the sweep of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. But now you've lost. They're 4-3, by the way, in those 20 games. Started with 4 wins. Now you've had 3 losses. If they lose today, you're 4-4. But again, there's not a lot of relief in here because of the challenging schedule. Like, there's no relief in this thing, unfortunately.
Yeah, and look, I go back to, and I'm probably getting annoying by saying this, just watch them play 9 innings.
Right.
And again, if you're getting beat because some other teams do things, but the problem is the Padres gift wrap some things along the way, right? So on top of them starting pitching, struggling, this, that, they're also, there's small components to a game that they're not good at.
Yeah, no, completely agree. So we'll see here tonight. Again, tomorrow you can hear Team USA right here on 760. I'm going to be honest with you. I'll turn this obviously on when I get home, but I'm also turning on the World Cup. And I'm going to turn on Mexico, Ecuador.
Oh, yeah.
Which is coming up in about 10 or 15 minutes from Mexico City. So I'll turn that on. I'll keep this thing on. Listen, the Padres, if there's one thing they've had this year, it's 4-run comebacks.
They've had some comebacks.
They've had some comebacks. Wins blown out.
Absolutely.
Toddy's homer. They're going to win this game 17-13.
I don't need 17, but I'll take 6-5.
Yeah, or 17-13.
Take a nice 6-5.
Yeah.
Nice 6-5 game.
Yeah, absolutely take that. So we're back tomorrow at 3. Short show, 3 to 4:30. Because again, Team USA will play tomorrow against
Big
Bosnia.
Time games coming up here.
You can hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760 tonight. You've got the World Cup with Mexico. We have Mexico coming up on the other side. We do not, but we do have Team USA for you coming up tomorrow at 4:30. All right, good stuff, Alan. We should do this every day at 3 p.m.
We should do it Monday through Friday from 3 to 6. I think that'd be a great idea.
You like that idea?
Yeah. Get ready. By the way, get ready. In these next 24 hours, I think we'll get some more NBA stuff going on, and that's usually how the NBA operates.
What about LeBron? Will we have an answer?
No, I think LeBron's going to take a while.
Just play it out.
LeBron's going to
make it about him.
This guy's going to be on every headline.
Is he going to have?
Do you not know who LeBron James is? This man he'll.
Is he going to say
he likes attention?
He's going to sell it to Amazon Prime and do a whole 60-minute special.
Yeah.
What do you think about that idea?
He's going to go top 15 teams, and then he'll take one out. And then there's 14 hats left. What if he does that? He's doing the hat thing.
I'm on board for it. So is ESPN.
And Lakers are on that list too.
He goes back to the Lakers after all that. All right, back tomorrow at 3 p.m. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app. For Brent and Alan, I'm John. Keep it here. Schaefer and Slee with San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Peace.